Good. Appropriate time of the day to you, friends and enemies. I am Richard, and this whole thing you see around you providing you're looking at the screen, is LMTDTMFFR, or, say it with me now, limited time offer, no vowels. How are you doing today, people? I hope you're doing well. I am doing well, I guess. A little bit more tired than I thought it would be. Meh, can't do anything about that. Not right now, not while we're playing Citizen Sleeper, and I swear that my being tired has nothing to do with the fact that this has the title of Sleeper in it. Definitely not. Still, here we are. We're about to start the last cycle, or the last part of the DLC. I expect it will be many cycles before we do that. Oh, how about I give you some lovely game sound, because I do like the music in this. It's nice and gentle and lilting. And you know, I can do by paying attention. And yes, it was the start of a new day. And I can't look all the way over there, but there's a thing up there that we can't look at. And I've only got one upgrade point, so I can't actually upgrade anything. And if I could, I'd probably buy this, because that is a useless ability. It might be useful at the beginning of the game, but by the time you get to the point where you can buy this, I mean, you should have already been buying lots of other things instead. So, we need to wait 2 days while we're doing stuff. So, we were going to go to deal with Yannick. Where are you, Yannick? You're up here somewhere, aren't you? Yeah, there we are. Yannick's ward while we're waiting the 2 days. We only need 3. Well, we can do that with a 5. Oh, we don't have a 5. A 5 would become a 6, which would guarantee a positive. But let's take this 50-50 and see what happens. Oh, I lost energy and gained energy. That's great. Alright, I only need 1, so we'll do this now. Oh, so losing energy must have been a point of, it must have been a neutral outcome. But this doesn't matter. Oh, I lost condition. That does matter. Alright, well, never mind. There we go. We have filled up Yannick's trust, the leader of the Yanigans. Let's see what's going on, so that we can betray him. That's the word I was looking for. Betray him in a minute. But this is all nothing to do with Purge. This is all core game stuff, but we're just here. You almost laugh when you see it. The same small recorder, stuck to a different wall this time. Written across the fluorescent tape is the familiar word, Sleeper. You grab it quickly. Rabia says sorry. Sabine's voice sparks up once again. She said she didn't have time to brief you before setting you up with the old man. I'm sure you've got the play by now. Earn his trust, work the block, then we need you to get to his office. Pause. It's risky, but obviously you are the only one of us he doesn't already know. Either way, we need to mark the link to S. We need to locate the link to S and Hub. You hear a shout in the background of the recording. Rabia says, "Be careful." Sabine continues. The data suggests there's some relay processing the implant data and sending it to SNR, but we can't lock down its position. Either he is moving it, or it's moving itself, or it is rerouting through other relays. We can't understand it. Maybe you can find some details in his office? I mean, if I was a bastard, I would put it inside Sabine or Rabia. Because they're never going to suspect themselves as the relay, are they? Anyway, once he trusts you, you should be able to get close enough to get in the office. I mean, I've been working on that for a while now, and he trusts me. Or at least, I filled up the meter that said trust on it, so, you know. Anyway, you should be able to get close enough to get in the office. You'll only get one shot. The recording creaks and whines. That's the final piece of the puzzle to end it. Hey, we got a ship coming into view on here. That's nice. Pause. Good luck, sleeper. I'm sorry too. Be safe. Recording clicks off, leaving you in silence. You pocket the recorder just in case and walk away. Looks like it's up to you. Yannick's office. Relay located or relay located. Find the relay. Yannick asks you to collect his medicine from his office. Now's the only chance to find that SNR relay. Well, let's put a 6 in there as well. So it will be 100% positive. Relay located. You spot the countermeasures on the drawer moments before you touch it. This has to be it, but you can't rush it. I mean, too late. I rushed it. You look at the countermeasures. You look at the countermeasures on the drawer. It looks like some kind of shock trap. If you'd grabbed the drawer, you would likely have thousands of volts running through your system right now. You wince. Once you find the anchor points, it comes away easily enough. You prise it up from the drawer quietly and quickly, or quickly and quietly. Then listen to the footsteps in the corridor outside. Nothing. All clear for now. You slide the drawer open, looking for other countermeasures that might be inside, expecting to see a chunk of tech, the relay. But as you slip it open, all you see is a handful of wires and an empty implant cradle. Oh no, is he onto us? Is this some kind of mistake? You freeze for a moment, unsure what to do next. Why keep an implant cradle so carefully guarded? You remember Yannick having an implant, a small plate on the side of his head, just above his ear? You assumed it was for hearing or vision. Those shimmering glasses of his come back to you in a memory. I'd like to see a picture of him because I can't remember what he looks like. His strange movements, his speech. You look again at the cradle, and there it is, printed on the frame. Proprietary technology. Property of SNARP. Rabia said the relay moved. They could get a fix on it. What if Yannick was the relay? Come on, they've got to have considered that possibility. Either that he is the relay or that he keeps it on him all the time. If they haven't considered that possibility, they are dumb. Just flat out dumb. A thought hit you like a shock. Yannick, with a remote relay implanted in his head, networked to every single implant enforcer in the low end. A shudder runs through you. Is he even in control, or has SNARP wormed its way into the man? Could he even be considered separate from the corporation itself? Think of your own legal status as proprietary technology. A puppet with cut strings, though. Time to cut Yannick's strings, then. Reach around inside the cradle and find it. A remote connection. Tiny bead of a transmitter, likely controlling the link to SNARP. There it is. You pause for a moment. Then you squeeze it. Snap, snap. Squish. Snap it from the frame, and it crumbles, sparks, and dies. It takes a moment before the shouts come, before the scream. You're already on your way down. Way out, down the corridor, down through the unit that serves as the lobby to Yannick's office. Then out the walkway where Yannick lies still. Enforcers gathered around him, amused. Yeah, let's go look, see what's happening. I'm his trusted friend. You push through the crowd, and there he is, still crumpled. You arrange him a little, lie him down properly, feeling how thin his body is under his suit. Wonder how long he's been like this. A puppet, SNARP. With the connections cut, nothing remains but his body, which means that Yannick, the man, was gone a long time before now. Place a hand on his chest. You're sorry for him, but it is done now. You did not kill this man. You've seen enough. The connection is cut, and whatever Yannick was, or had become, is gone. Yannick has a hard core in your chest, and all of it is focused on SNARP. Remote control achievement unlocked. Alright, do I need to do things? No, I just need to wait. Alright, well, I mean, I can do things while I'm waiting. Such as eat delicious empty stills. I will order some fungus. There we go, 3 energy. And then, look at all those scrap components. I don't know what else to do. I could go and work on the you're coming back in. We're waiting for you to come around again. But yeah, I could go and work on this. A side reel. But doesn't seem any point. Oh, I'd get some money. I could go and work and get scrap directly. Well, let's roll the dice and see what I get. Because I'm going to re-roll these ones. A 6 and a 3. Well, that makes it a 5, which is great. So we might as well earn some money while we're here. That filled in 2 on the side reel. Alright, and yeah, we'll fill in a 6 to earn some money as well. Which again filled in 2. Alright. I didn't see if it was a positive outcome before, but I assume it was. Right, I need to get to a home. Let's just double check it is 2 days, right? Oh no. This is just send the flux data. I was incorrect. Alright, well, let's patch ourselves up. Back in the Hyperdorm by inserting scrap. Maybe I should do one more day and I should just use all of my dice to get scrap, just on the off chance that I need it. I mean, I've got 1 stabilizer, so I should also go and buy a stabilizer as well. Which is in the other compound, or the other part of the eye. Doctors. You're not the doctors. I've gone too far. Where's the doctors? No, you're the tea house. Has the doctors disappeared because I destroyed? Right, you want to buy data. You're home. You're the doc. You can get energy, yeah? Or earn money. You're the doc again. This is where I can earn money. I can make a ship mind. Buy fungus. There I can earn money. Or track Havenage. Have we got any Havenage data? Yadigan data. I've kept that. Just in case I need it for the Yadigan thing. This is where I could work. No, that's where I could earn money. That's I've done over one-time actions. I'm surprised that is still there, given that I finished that ages ago. This is where I wait for Rabia. Yeah, okay, I can't buy any more stabilizer anymore. Well, that's shocking. Alright, so we're gonna go to sleep in the freighter. Or sorry, in the dorm. Yeah. Complete actions, activity scenes. What activity scenes have I got to complete? Do I need to go up? Because I know there was a thing up here. Or do I need to insert data? Because if I do, that is horrible. No, here we are. We have to do Bliss first of all. Alright. When you enter, the bay is weirdly silent. Rex must be out on some errand, and maybe Bliss is prepping the kit? Sleeper! Ankahita is drifting off to one side of the bay. You missed her completely when you came in. The idea of not seeing Ankahita when you entered the room would have seemed unlikely to you several cycles ago. And seeing her without her armor, she seems smaller, less imposing. Okay. Ankahita? She nods and kicks off from the wall, drifting closer. So what is this? She asks. Come to avenge Ashton, or his sleeper? Or just looking for another payout? Her anger is familiar, but quieter than before. Restrained. Hey, I'm not here. I'm not here to start a fight. And, you know, I didn't even recognize you. I wasn't sure who it was, but now I know. I couldn't remember you were wearing armor. Still, there we go. I don't want to fight. That's not why I'm here. And why are you here? She looks away. You can tell her anger isn't directed at you in particular. It just radiates off her like a fire. I invested in this business. I expect a regular payout. That's why I'm here. You better be ready to sign, comes a shout from across the entrance. Because I've got my best repair tech going up here, especially, and they're going to... Bliss glides in and suddenly stops herself when she sees you and Akihita standing off. Oh, Sleeper, you're already here. Miss Cassetta. This is the tech I was telling you about. Best on the... She stops, looking between the two of you. Wait, do you two know each other? Yeah. You and Akihita look at her. We work together. I got no problems with that. Bliss looks at you both before continuing. Bliss produces a slate. Now, Miss Cassetta. Cassetta. Akihita. Akihita. If you'd like to sign our damage waiver here, we can start on the decommissioning. She looks at you. My tech here is eager to get started, as am I. I mean, I'm not. Akihita scrawls her signature across the slate. Thank you. Bliss pauses. And everything okay? Everything is okay with the special payment terms we discussed? She gives Akihita a strange smile. If you're ripping me off, I am not going to be happy. All fine, says Akihita, giving you another hard look. She kicks off and drifts to the entrance. I'll be in the gimbal, she says, and leaves. Tell me about special payment terms. I've got no reason not to trust this person. From what I remember, I was hunting someone down because they ran off with the hive mind, or the ship hive mind, and you killed them at the end and ripped the hive mind out of the person who was a sleeper. You don't... Just because you are different, because you require this thing, does not mean you get to steal it from me. Looks over her glasses at you. Look, Sleeper, there's something I have to tell you. She glances around again. What is she so nervous about? This isn't exactly a typical job. Miss Cassetta? I mean, Akihita. She gives you a knowing look. Doesn't have any chits to pay us, so we've made a special agreement, she sighs. I'm leaving. You're joining a mercenary crew? Don't make me laugh. Akihita is an ex-mercenary. Why do you think she's getting us to remove all our ship's armaments? I mean, it could be for any number of reasons. Amber. The ship is called Amber. I spent a long time fixing it up. Bliss gives you a funny look. Some deep history here, huh? Not especially. She holds up a hand to stop you answering. I mean, she gave me a... prize is not the right word. Payment? Whatever. She gave me a thing I could not make use of, as I had already paid for the passage across. She would have given me a discount on it, but, you know, I'd paid for it not long before. Anyway, she holds up her hand to stop you answering. Look, all I care about is that she's headed for the Starwood Belt. She looks out of the bay. That's where I'm headed. She turns back to face you. Also, I wanted to ask. She stops unsure. If you'd like to come with us? No. I like it here on the eye. Which, you know, I think is a bad thing. She interrupts before you answer. I know things have been hard for you on the eye. I mean, I've made lots of friends. I'm okay. And you helped me as much. Asked Akihita if she'd carry two of us, and she said yes. Retz will take over the bay anyway. Although, if you stay, you're welcome to help him run it. I just thought... She sighs. You might be in need... Might be in need of a fresh start as much as I am. She turns away nervously. Think about it anyway. The berth is there. Got to finish the job first anyway. With that, she kicks away and heads to the racks before you can offer an answer. Moments later, Moritz enters with a new cutting torch for the disarming of the ambergris. A stalwart belt. You push your thoughts to the back of the mind. To the back of your mind. Time to get to work. I mean, it would be, except I'm not going to be doing that. Right, it's an engineering action where I can get 3 or 1. Akihita wants it out. All of it. Weapons, countermeasures, torpedoes. It would be a risky job if you didn't know Amber so well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Alright. Oh, so it's a safe job now. Have I lowered how difficult it is because I know the ship? Because I actually succeeded on doing all of that stuff. Maybe. Who knows? But Now is the time for sleep. Oh, we can end the cycle. Oh. 23554. I mean, I was gonna sleep here, but I don't think that's worth it. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna get 2 bits of scrap, and then we'll start the action and ignore all of the other things that we've got going on. As I said, I've got the save backed up somewhere. Or as I said, not this time, but last time, I've got the save backed up. So if I really want to, I can come back and do the other endings. Though, I'm not going to inflict those on you. Ooh. Didn't realise I could do that. Warning, final episode once you send the data. Episode Purge and the final series of events on the Eye will begin. After this point, you will no longer be able to return to complete other drives or find other endings. Make sure you're ready. I'm as ready as I'll be. All of that stuff we did with Yadigan and with the stuff, and with Bliss upstairs, not worth it. Nothing we can do about them now. Onwards. Flux data sent. Peaks relay pings a confirmation. The data is sent. Now you can do is wait for the response. Oh, there it is. The cordon. Havenage quantity zone. With the data sent, the only thing to do is to wait. I could do some sunbathing and gather some energy. No, not what I want to do. As you do, you imagine Helene receiving the data, perhaps in the middle of some Havenage Council meeting? You think of her trembling hands as she slips out of the room to read it, a reaction you can't predict. Why would she leave the room to read the data? Why would she even interrupt a council meeting to look at the data that's just been sent to her? Unless it was marked urgent, override, or something. You imagine Sol, too. One of his crew finding him in some corner of the Pilgrim Seed, overseeing the modifications that will turn it into an ark. Those sharp eyes scanning the data, looking for a way to proceed. White draws out, and to pass the time you watch the activity beyond the edge of the eye. Scrap shuttles pulling components from the now abandoned cordon, and the supply skiffs making runs between the flotilla ships. It isn't long before you hear the chirping of one of Helene's now familiar drones approaching the viewing platform, and then Helene herself strides into the room. Where did you get this, Sleeper? Helene holds a slate, scrolling with streams of flux data as she enters. I need to know your source. Hello to you too. You didn't bring me here for a reunion, I assume? Helene smiles a thin smile. Now you'll forgive me for skipping the pleasantries. I didn't bring you here at all. I might have said I am here. No, I suppose I did say I want to meet you here, yeah? She pauses, pushes her hair back out of her face. I can't remember if we said meet here or not. This is a lot to take in. A shadow protocol inside the flux? The system's CAN channel starting up? Total collapse of the eye? She rubs her forehead. If I bring this to the council, they'll... She turns away. They'll believe you. She laughs. Do you know what has been happening with Havenage, Sleeper? She looks away out at the flotilla. Since the refugee ships started arriving, things have changed. It's chaos. No one can settle on a single issue. There is division at every vote. In the division, only one group prospers, the hardliners. Because as each councillor gets tired of the arguments, gets tired of the compromises, they become more attracted to the easy answers. The flotilla is to blame. The refugees are opportunists. The eye must be defended. She shakes her head. And now you are telling me they brought something to the eye that will cause its collapse? They did not bring anything. It's from the CAN channel. The eye should be defended. What does that mean, Sleeper? I don't know. Helene glares at you. You are telling me that the threat is intangible, a shadow, a formless protocol. How can we defend ourselves from that? I can help. And the refugees, they're all too tangible. And that is what will draw the council's focus, but that doesn't matter. You can send the refugees all away, and the place will still die. She closes her eyes, a hand to her temple. Did someone say refugees? Bursts onto scene in dramatic fashion. So glancing to the docking bay, grinning at the situation. Speak of the devil, and well, here I am. His suit hisses as he settles on his cane. Elaine glances between the two of you, uncertain if she has been drawn into some elaborate plan. So how's that hand? To her. Sol, he nods. I believe we have spoken remotely? No, the cordon was still up. I sent both of you the data. Sol laughs. Well, thank you. He raises an eyebrow. Evidence of our mutual and inevitable destruction is not much of an olive branch, but I'll take it. I'm not Havenage, Elaine bursts out, then corrects herself. What I mean to say is, no one person represents Havenage. That's the idea. I did not support the cordon, but I did not support your quarantine. Sol nods. Well then, Sol glances at you. Anyone mind if I get myself up to speed here? He pauses. You get the feeling he isn't expecting an answer. 1. The flux event, the very same destabilizing waves that collapsed the colonies on the moons of Ember, have reached the station. He holds up that doesn't make sense. I've said that already. Either they had to pass through it themselves, again, on the way out, or this is a second wave directed at the things. I think it has been directed at places. Anyway, he holds up a stubby finger. 2. According to the data Sleeper provided, these events are acting as a cover for some sort of intrusive protocol which is causing the real damage. Second finger joins the first. 3. You usually go 1, 2, 3. Huh? You would put up your finger before you do this. Here is the third point. No. Here is the 3. Now is the third point. I don't know what I'm getting caught up in all of this for, but anyway. Shadow Protocol will do the very same thing it did to Ember, Song, Step, and Hearth. And quickly. In short, it'll shut down everything keeping this place alive. Third finger pops up. 4, and this is my favourite, we have no idea who or what is doing this, and why. Sol's final finger joins the other 3. It's got a thumb, right? Is that about the total of it? There's another flux event coming. Of course there is. Sol smiles thinly. Sounds. Elaine pauses, searching for words. Intimidating? Elaine turns to Sol. Did you manage to put up any kind of resistance on Ember's Earth? Sol shakes his head. That's why we are here. The Pilgrim Seed was the biggest ship to make it out unscathed. He pauses. I suppose we didn't have this data. We didn't know what was eating up the systems. We all thought it was just the flux. Elaine looks at you, and I imagine you, Sleeper, and whoever helped you uncover this, might be able to figure out a countermeasure? We can try. Elaine nods approval. Okay, so that's the start of it. If you'll forgive me, Sol cuts in. Part of why I was able to save as many as I could on Ember's Earth was that I gave up hope early. Sol shifts his weight, his suit hissing. There was endless strategy meets, system reboots, tests and trials. I just got on with working on the Pilgrim Seed, with getting people on board. So when the second, and then the third, and then the rest of the flux events hit, we were ready to go. If I can offer you some advice, Miss Not Havenage, it is to give up on that line of thought you have, that hope, and to start the evacuation now, right this cycle. Sol looks out on the observation deck towards the Pilgrim Seed. I've already started the process of converting the remaining volume of the Pilgrim Seed for human habitation. With Havenage's resources, I dare say we could finish the job with time to spare. Sol scratches his beard. I know it's hard, and I know it's sudden, but you have to give up hope. We have to run. There will be no heroes here. Just those that keep living and those that don't. Elaine listens in silence, making calculations. She looks out at the bulk of Pilgrim Seed, which, despite all its vastness, is dwarfed by the eye as a whole. Something flickers in her eyes. She opens her mouth to speak. She stops, frozen. Let me think. Elaine rubs her temple. I need a moment. Elaine paces. As you watch her, you realize how young she is, how lost she is in the systems and protocols she has to navigate. can almost see the strings and ties that bind, glinting like webs in the wide space of the observation platform. I don't know how old I am to see how young she is. I say we purge the Shadow Protocol. I'm saying we're going for it. Big damn heroes, sir. Lane stopped spacing. But with what resources? The data you sent me, the thing is a shadow. Uncontrolled, untraceable. Right here. I mean, also, we've got the giant whatever you call it that's there as well. Perhaps with a full contingent of the Havenage Systems Department, but that would require hundreds of work orders to be overlooked. Maintenance schedules abandoned. She looks away. Getting that through this council. Through the council? Would that even be possible? She glances at Sol, who is patiently waiting, patiently listening. We do it without them. Impossible. Lane looks at the slate again. We'll take this to the council. Force them to listen. Force them to act. Earth jumper, somebody loudly clears their throat nearby. Your eyes jump to the dark entryway that Helene emerged from just minutes ago. Kemp. What a cozy little meeting this is. A man steps from the shadows, dressed in the same style of Havenage overalls as Helene. I must say, that is some very incendiary rhetoric you're using, Councillor Helene. And he's a hardline Havenage councillor. Hello there, how goes? It goes forwards. Poorly. I am doing okay, but the game seems to be ending on a depressing note. I mean, we're nowhere near the end, but that is what I am guessing. I'm guessing this is leading to us abandoning the Eye altogether, which might be why I've called the stream Shut Eye. Or it might be something to do with going to sleep. It all depends on how your perspective is. And how are you? Are you awake, at least? Or have I missed it? Has it been so long since the message appeared that you are no longer awake? You glance at Helene, and her face drops immediately. Kemp. She curses under her breath. Sol shifts his weight on the cane, but otherwise remains still, like a casual observer. Plotting against Havenage with an interloper, he gestures at Sol. Everyone will be so disappointed. Kemp smiles a bright smile. Some of our councillors had high hopes for our youngest member. His smile drops. I, of course, never let novelty distract from the importance of experience. Lane stares daggers at Kemp. Enough of this petty shit, Kemp. You need to see this. She holds out the slate with an outstretched arm. The games are over. No more point scoring, no more lobbying. You and your hardliners need to stop. This is something real. Kemp calmly takes the slate and prods the screen. Prods it. He prods the screen, scrolling through the flux data. His face portrays nothing. We see some complex calculations flickering in his sharp eyes. You were a bit tired while bothering. I realise I haven't been doing my stretches as consistently as you should be. I'm also feeling a bit melancholy, so I'm not even sure I want to play this game. Yeah. Not sure what you want to play game-wise. I wouldn't say this one. Definitely not if you're feeling melancholy. I don't know what I play when I want to be upbeat. Side-scrolling beat 'em up, just so that I don't have to think about it, and I know it's just the rhythm of the action, the rhythm of knowing when to press, what to press, so that I don't have to think about things. That's usually what I do. Kemp lowers his slate slowly. Lowers the slate, even, not his state, and smiles at Helene. What do you think this shows? Lane frowns. Don't play games. You can read. The flux is a carrier signal for some shadow protocol, most likely corporate in nature. Maybe it's Solheim re-emerging to claim their station. Maybe it's a takeover. But either way, the station is under threat. You are right about that, but the rest? Conjecture. The rest of what? Kemp rubs their chin. What we have here is a virus in our systems, which emerged precisely when the flotilla arrived. In fact, it times imperfectly with the mysterious event that freed them. Ooh. So what I see is a hostile cyber warfare attack, instigated by dissidents that fled Ember's moons after committing terror attacks on their own soil. Kemp's face darkens. That is the order of facts. Nothing more, nothing less. No, because you're saying it's instigated by dissidents. What a horrible, horrible accident that has happened here that you have been spaced by mistake there, Kemp. I don't know. I don't know if I would have the guts to do that. I don't know if it is a moral choice to make there to just space Kemp at this point. Violence is not always a solution, but it is a solution. Facts will be happy. Facts are we happy to present to the council. Kemp tightens his grip on the slate. Lane laughs. You think that's the only copy of that data, you sanctimonious shit? No. And it's on your slate. Can you not... Is it your personal slate? I don't know. No, I don't. Who do you think they will listen to, Elaine? Especially after I tell everybody about this little clandestine meeting. You couldn't win power by Havenage systems, by our laws, so you resort to this. Kemp shook his head. The law is with me. It's as simple as that. Yeah, you're definitely... Okay. I don't know that I would have any strength in order to do it, but yeah. He gestures, and out of the shadows 2 Havenage security officers appear. Now, no need for that, Sol suddenly speaks up. Silence had meant Kemp had stopped paying attention to him, but now you notice he has backup of his own. A group of his crew stand on the edge of the room. They're carrying long, boxy guns. Never seen anything like this on the eye. Glassy XPR logos glint along the barrels. These are Eshe's guns. Eshe? Yeah. I was going to say, not explosives then. Okay. Kemp freezes. The officers hesitate, holding back in the doorway. Be careful there, outsider. He stutters. Kill me. Havenage will never forget. And? Sol waves a hand at him. No one is killing anyone, so let's calm down. Sol scratches his beard. But I'm going to have to ask you to leave. No! Don't ask him to leave, keep him here. Lane glances at him, and he gives her a gentle nod. And you'll leave your colleague here with me, he raises an eyebrow. We haven't finished our conversation, that is... Alright. You're letting him get away and spin the story. Kemp laughs and shakes his head. You are finished, Helene. Council will never allow you back after this. He turns and walks out of the observation deck, taking his officers with him. You all pause to catch your breath. Lane looks ready to collapse. Sol flexes inside his suit, nodding at his crew to check that Kemp has fully retreated. Sol wrenches part of the suit back into place, grimacing. Your friends leave a lot to be desired. He shoots a glance at Helene. Seems like support for the evacuation might be a hard ask. Lane didn't respond. Or she doesn't respond. Because didn't is past tense, and she's not dead yet. The story is yet to conclude as well. She stares out at the Pilgrim Seed once more, trying to process what's in front of her. She sighs and turns back to you both. I won't call for an evacuation. She looks at Sol. Maybe that's a fatal mistake, but I can't do it. Yeah, that is not the option I was calling for either. I understand, but... She pauses. I won't block it either. If people want to leave, Havenage will let them. This is what I will propose to the council. She sighs. If they let me speak. You have to do more. You have to save people. Easier said than done, Sleeper. She sighs. She nods at you and Sol and turns to leave. Yeah, I don't get the feeling that many of my choices in this game actually impact how the story plays out. I think there are 1 or 2 key decision points where stuff goes one way or the other, but it still rolls on to the next set of events. It's not like a branching path where you can go like left or right and then you get to the next one and you can go left or right. I get the idea that you can go left or right at the first part, and then you are stuck on the left path forever. Sol is quiet. He scratches at his beard. I don't know that for certain, sorry. I should make that clear, but that is how it feels to me here. He scratches at his beard. Good luck, he offers to the departing Helene, but she does not respond. He leans on his cane. I'll be honest with you, Sleeper. None of this changes anything for me. Pilgrim Seed will be going in a handful of cycles, whether Havenage wants it or not. You're not abandoning the eye, and I can't say you can't abandon the eye, because that is it. So how long? Tell Grimaces. Honestly? As soon as we're ready. I'm not eager to run down the clock to the last cycle. Sol puts a hand on his shoulder. There's a berth for you, and for any you can gather, Sleeper. I owe you that much. And Helene? I wouldn't hold out much hope for her coming around, Sleeper. I don't want her to come around. I said we fight this thing. God damn it. But, alright. She's too tied up in all of this. I won't let her leave, even if she wants to. It won't let her leave, not you. I'm not restricting her. Her sense of duty. That's the word I was looking for. He eyes you. Hell, I'd say the same about you. You have a habit of proving me wrong. My crew will take me from here. Don't you worry. Soul straightens up. Oh, thank you, Sleeper, for sending the data. I appreciate the extra info. See if it can help us shore up things on the Pilgrim Seed against any future flux events. If we had you back on Ember's hearth... He pauses, suddenly losing his appetite for discussing the past. Soul sighs. Of course, we're going to need all the help we can get. And if you can spare some time, come to the Pilgrim Seed. Help me get it ready. Bring others. There's a future to be earned here, cycle by cycle. We'll be leaving as soon as we're able. If you want to help us get there faster, well, you'd be welcome. He meets your eyes. Soul grimaces. Well, he pauses. Just don't keep me waiting. He limps off towards his waiting crew. You pause for a moment to let your thoughts catch up. Peak will want to hear about all this. They should be your first port of call. New drive discovered. Let's rotate this background so that I can actually see what's going on properly. Alright, so we've got things going on there. There's Peak. There's the Pilgrim Seed. Okay, so I can do Pilgrim Prep, where I could lose condition or I could get 2. Building berths into the vast bulkheads of the Pilgrim Seed is a huge job, and Soul needs every able-bodied engineer to help. +2 engineering, or enduring for +1 to do Pilgrim Prep +2 again, but -2 energy. The AQEs may need many supplies for the trip to the Stalwart Belt, and they have been hauled aboard in only a few cycles. Have to be hauled aboard in only a few cycles. Alright, you could look up side conversations as my brain is running. I was watching a few Let's Plays, Dimension 20. After that, just watching kind of reinforced some of my beliefs about character death, in that the replacement characters really did not grab your interest as much. Honestly say the GM scenario would piss me off as a player unless we had talked about things beforehand, because they kind of utter BS into just how unfair they are. Don't watch Dimension 20, no idea what's going on. Absolutely do not care about character death in things. If the roles dictate that a character dies and that fucks with the story, I'm all for it. If my character dies and you had a thing planned out for my character, tough shit, my character is dead. I don't care. I do not care about what you wanted to happen. The whole point of me playing RPGs, or of playing RPGs with other people, is choice and consequences. So if I choose to go in the front and kick in the door and the consequence of that is I die, I'm A-okay with that. And I am not here to tell your story and what you had planned for it, even though you are the GM. Or if I am the GM, I don't want to tell my story. I want to tell the story that we make together. Yeah? All of us. And if that story happens to include the death of my character in some non-heroic manner, I'm okay with that. More of the replacement characters really aren't as interesting. Well, that's got nothing to... Okay. That's all on the players and making them interesting. Can't do anything about that. You got anything else up here? No, that's just the end of the eye. Alright then, Peak. Let's talk to you, curious Spacer. Spacer? Spacer? Oh, and it's Ishi. Eshe. Let's say Ishi. As you enter the climbing briar, you immediately have to jump aside as Ishi, lugging a massive crate across the cargo bay, pushes past you, grunting an apology as she does. Reminds me of when we met, as you bumped into me then. Ishi sniffs and doesn't look back. I mean, I expect that was the response no matter what one I chose there, but I don't know for certain. As you turn back to the bay, Peak pushes past you. Sorry, Sleeper, just a second. Peak rushes to catch up with Ishi. Put that down, please, Ishi. But she doesn't respond to his urging. Who's urging? Because Peak has always been a they, not a his. You can't leave, not yet. Peak puts a hand on her shoulder. Please, I'm the only one here who can. The crate drops, the sound of the impact echoing around the bay like thunder. Can do what, Peak? Her eyes are burning with anger. Save this place? Are you still that naive? You want a bit of balance. I like failure, but I find death less interesting. I'd rather they live, but have to suffer the horrific consequences of their choice, or surviving than straight up death. I think that depends on the situation. Sometimes death is the consequence of what you are doing. Sometimes surviving horribly maimed is it, but I don't... Or surviving in some fashion, but losing whatever you were aiming for. Yeah. But that's not always the consequence. Anyway, we are running, Peak. We are running because this thing cannot be stopped. It can be stopped at XBR, our home. Why would we stay to stop it here? Because this could be your new home. You've already made a great friend like me. Because we can, Ishi. Because we can give these people a chance. Peak pleads with her. Like they gave the refugees a chance? Ishi shakes her head. No, Peak, this is not on us. You barely made it out of XPR. I worked for years to escape, and now you want to throw it all away? No. You escaped XPR. I left everything behind. My mother, my friends, to take you out of that place. She clenches her jaw. She turns and slams her hand onto the grate, breathing hard. We go. That's the end of it. Vic turns away. You feel unsure what to do. You know now that it is not the time for outside arguments. This is between them. Pete crosses the bay back towards you. I'm sorry you had to see that, Sleeper. They sigh. Let's talk upstairs. Pete leads you to an entry ladder, taking you up out of the bay and into the habitation level of the ship. You follow them through the tight corridors, noticing the handwritten notes, the clutter, the repairs, the signs of a home. Here, sit. Pete gestures to the broad mess table. The broad mess table, not a messy table as I was thinking. The broad mess table, with its curved couches, and you slide in on one side. Peek sits opposite. They brush the hair out of their eyes and take a deep breath. So, how did it go? What did they say? I've been waiting all cycle. Alright. First of all, there are problems. Tell them about Kemp. Peak looks increasingly troubled as you tell them about the hard-line counsellor Kemp's sudden appearance. Damn. Then Elaine's going to have problems of her own to deal with. Peak shakes her head. Looks like we won't be able to count on anything from Havenage. They pause. What stopped Kemp from arresting her? The guns! Peak rolls their eyes. Of course. If you can hear that, it's time for me to get up and do streaming. Of course. Those are the guns Ishi managed to smuggle through to the refugees. One she didn't tell us about. Peak sighs. Another thing that's on us. What's on us? Ishi is standing quietly in the doorway listening. You don't know how long she's been there. Pete looks up at her with tired eyes. Sleeper found the weapons you smuggled from XPR. Ishi freezes. She glances between you and Peak, as if it might be some elaborate joke. The flotilla used them? She moves out the doorway and enters the room. What happened? Nothing. I mean, people backed down, so I guess something happened. Peak interrupts. Be thankful that they didn't. They used them as a threat, that is all. Good. She folded her arms. You get the feeling that she knows Peak will not approve. Peak goes to speak, and then decides not to take the bait. They glance at you. I'm sure you've heard enough of us arguing this cycle, Sleeper. Peak shoots a look at Ishi. But our introduction of those weapons into the equation was just another reason why we simply cannot run away. She looks away but says nothing. She surely knows that they cannot absolve themselves of responsibility here. So, what is motivating her? You realise that she might be trying to protect Peak, even from themselves. Suddenly, a shrill beeping fills the room. Peak pulls out their slate to silence it, but as they do, they freeze, their finger hovering above the screens. The beeping continuing its incessant pulse. Has it spread to the climbing briar? Is the flux on there, or has a new flux event been detected? What's going on? Peak doesn't seem to hear you. They blink with glazed eyes at the slate, and they let out a long exhale, tap the screen. The beeping shuts off, leaving a ringing silence behind. Ishi frowns at Peak, planning to explain. 12 cycles. Peak looks vacantly up at you both. 12 cycles until the next flux event. They shake their head. I've been using the arrays on the briar to look towards the center of the system, to approximate where the can channel should be. Just this moment they detected a signal from the inner systems. I thought you were trying to approximate when the can channel would open up again, but no, where it is instead. Alright. Given the distance and the pattern of previous flux events, we have 12 cycles before it reaches the eye. Silence in the room is deafening. 12 cycles. That's it. Before a second wave hits. And this place... Peak interrupts your thoughts. We start now. That's the end of it. Peak stands up to face Ishi. You want to take the briar and run, Ishi? That's on you. But I won't do it. You take a deep breath. I'll be here, Sleeper. Every cycle it takes. Trying to find a solution. I'll need your help. The eyes meet yours. See a wild desperation flicking there. We will find something. The sooner we have a plan, the better. If it takes us 12 cycles to fix this thing, it'll be too late. Peak's eyes flash with determination. I reach for the slate and pass it to you. So we can keep in touch. You pocket the thin handheld terminal. And Ishi? Peak starts. But she is gone, storming down the corridors of the ship, on a path to who knows where. You know from experience that it's impossible to outrun your fears. But you get a sense that Ishi will try anyway. Peak rubs their red eyes, staring at Ishi. Maybe I'll take a moment before we start. They smile weakly, tears of exhaustion gathering in their eyes. See you back here soon, okay? As you slip from the room into the corridor, Peak's quiet sob somehow carrying through the ship behind you as you leave. Alright. So, build a home, which is repair the unit. We're not doing that. Evacuate the eye. I think we'll be helping the Pilgrim Seed. Expose Yannick. Speak to Rabbi about what happened. Well, maybe we can look at that. But I don't know that I think that will not work anymore. Protect the eye. Help Peak plan. And win a side reel ticket. Woo! Which we're not doing any of. Bye bye. Drives. Anything else up there? Nope, just you guys. Okay, so this is Climbing Briar, escaped XPR ship. Right, and this is us. Okay. Here we have the terminal flux. The next flux event is coming and it can't be stopped. The sooner your preparations are complete, the better the outcome. Cool. So we can gain 2 for a desperate plan. That's an interface action. The thing I always started with. That's great, but we could lose energy. Peak is tirelessly analysing the flux data and testing countermeasures on the Shadow Protocol. They need your help. That's only a 6. I mean, I have a 4. Actually, let's look around and see what else we've got first of all. We got anything going on over here? That's the base camp. Okay, and we can see where the terminal flux is. It will tell us all the time. That's where we can get scrap. Those are all the regular things. There's nothing else exciting come up on here. Okay, that's still filling in. But there's no other things happening. Alright, well then. First of all, let's go slot a 4 into this plan, he said, wanting a bit terminology there. Alright, here we are. 100% positive outcome, so +2 for a desperate plan. if we cannot, if the desperate plan is realizing that this is too desperate and we've wasted our time and should have been prepping, I am going to be annoyed. Alright, and I just need 4s or better to fill this in. Because a 4 will become a 6. So 50% chance on both dice of getting a 4 or better. Alright, I got a 6 and a 1. Well, that's not great. I can do a 6 for 100% positive outcome. And now I've got 1. I could lose 1 energy. But this is going to turn into a 3, so it's 25, 50, 25? Oh, if only I could click in the right place. Yeah, 25, 50, 25. I don't mind losing 1 energy. So we'll start this action and hope for the 25 that is positive. Nope, only 1. Damn it. That is disappointing. That means we have to waste 1 cycle waiting for the plan. Alright. Time to go to sleep then. Let's put a bit of scrap in to keep us in the 5 die range. Well, no, actually I could have lost 2 more before it happens. But yeah, we're out of dice, we're out of time, it's time for sleep. Okay, a lot of 4s. Alright, first and foremost, let's finish that plan. If I put a 2 in, that's just going to be a 50-50. Oh, it's not. Alright. No, leave. Can I can't take it out, can I? I have to go back out and then go back in. Alright, so we'll put a 3 in, which will be a 50-50 outcome. And that's... yeah, that's not wasting any dice. That's fine. Or it's wasting the least number of pips. Yeah, I got a positive 1. Hey, but I got 5 cryo. So there we go. Peak beckons you over to a wide mess table, where they have set up a terminal. The hours of bleary-eyed work have left you both drained. Peak looks ready to collapse. You slide across the curved couch beside them. Something dark and malevolent filling their screen like an oil stain. I'm sick of looking at that thing. Look again. Ink's eyes seem to glitter in the screen like, this isn't what you think, Sleeper. Not by a long shot. Is this your shadow killer shadow? You look again at the screen, leaning close to the dark, curved shape to see its texture. You see whirls and currents like a river. Dark flow, unlike the Shadow Protocol's dark tangle. You know exactly what this is. You've swum in this river, you almost drowned in its shifting flow. It's the Gardener's Chorus. The dark cloud which blankets the Greenway's networks. The bio-organic morass of a malfunctioning protocol. Grown vast and strange. The Gardener! Pete glanced at them. How do you... They pause. Have you met them? Yeah, I have. They're great. He shakes their head. Incredible. Then perhaps you won't be surprised by what I am about to propose. Pete meets your eyes. Everything I've tried to do to contain the Shadow Protocol has been a failure. It slips through any containment, absorbs any countermeasure. That, unfortunately, is an unavoidable fact. And yet, the ice still spins. The Shadow Protocol is being slowed, partially constrained. It's spread across the station, as we have seen, but in reduced pockets, in fragments. So I started to look outside of our test cases, outside of these fragments we have been poking and prodding in our lab. He smiles, and look what I found. Pete taps a key on the terminal. You realise that the screen is showing a recording of the data flows inside the EYE's network, sampled from hundreds of points around the Greenway. You watch as a subtle shift occurs at the edge of the flowing dark curve that blankets the Greenway. Something spreading like an ink stain, somehow darker than black, it bleeds across the Shadow Protocol. Now watch. Peak eagerly points at the screen. See something strange? A fizzing at the edge of the shadow? A sparking, and then it is gone. And beneath, for a moment, a millisecond, you can see into the networks of the Greenway. You're reminded of an image you had forgotten, of pulling a plant from its pot and seeing a bone-white root ball where you expected to see dark soil. The white connections writhe like worms. Then it is gone, the dark flow closing up as quickly as it opened. It dissolved the shadow? Exactly, Peak nods. It protected itself. Think back to your meeting with the gardener. That sense of something old and world, and inhuman to its core. Peak excitedly starts to explain. This is the only chance we have, the only countermeasure we have seen. Oh, don't tell me I need to destroy the gardener in order to do this. That would be horrible. In the moment it opened, I detected something. A centralized intelligence with a local ID. Gardener. This protocol, this system, whatever it is, it can protect its network from the Shadow Protocol. But if it stays in the Greenway, the eye will still fall. Station systems are too exposed, too spread across the hub, the shipyard, the spokes. He glances away. The only way to break it open, to spread the entity's network access. The only way is to break it open. Spread the entity's network access. Expand it somehow. I don't see a problem with that. I've been inside that, Peak. Peak pauses, trying to read your expression. And this gardener, can they help us? You try to remember what that strange being said to you. It was a while ago, after all. But all you remember is the feeling of dissolving into that network. A heady mix of growth and decay. The ceaselessness of it. Would they protect the station, or would they simply dissolve it? They might. To protect what they have already grown, they might expand out. Pink stands up and walks away a little. They lean against the countertop, their head hanging so low that their long hair touches the work surface. You hear them breathing deeply. I really don't know, Sleeper. They lift their head. I really don't know. It's a chance. Let's go for it. Maybe. They shake their head. You know as well as Peak that this is it. You know it, because over the past cycles you have run every simulation, every possibility you could think of, still come up with nothing. You've stared a hole in your screen, and dreamt of that black shadow creeping in at the edges of your vision. I mean, I was helping build this plan, right? So why didn't I think of the gardener? I have been into that place. Why is it Peak who has thought of that? I assume it's for the plot, and not because the shadow is already inside you. I mean, nobody's checked me for the shadow? So maybe they should, just in case? But still. Peak recognizes the look in your eyes, the potent cocktail of resignation and anger. Let's say we do this, Peak begins, eyeing you carefully. What do we need? They begin to answer their own question, thinking out loud. I suppose we need to do two things. Find a way to limit or control the gardener's spread, and then reconnect the Greenway. Why would we need to limit or control the gardener's spread? The gardener built things that humans needed at the time. So if you let it spread everywhere, it will understand what humans need and give it for them. Or create it for them, rather. Peak starts pacing. The idea is coming quickly now. Controlling the spread means preparing the station, limiting the gardener's network to key systems. You don't want it taking everything. Why not? Why don't we want it taking everything? We just need to protect the station's core functionality. The core functionality is a hive mind that I placed in there that used to live inside a vending machine. I don't know that they would be happy for being taken over, but alright. Anyway, then we need to reconnect the Greenway, hook it back up to the main line of the network. The systems we prepared, they should connect. And the gardener will spread along the paths we prepared. I mean, I could just go and talk to the gardener and tell them what's going on. At least that is my theory, Pete grimaces. But if we don't prepare correctly, the gardener might not spread, or it might spread to everything. Pete closes his eyes, and after that, things might get worse. Yeah, it can't be worse than a total collapse. Don't say it, Sleeper. It can't be worse than a total collapse. Is everybody dying everywhere? Don't say it, Sleeper. But, I mean, I suppose, if the gardener started using people as fertilizer, that might be worse. But I don't get that sense from them, still. Or, you know, growing mushrooms in them. Have you seen that? Have you seen that? He said, going real world, that there is the first confirmed case of mushrooms spreading their spores to people and infecting them. Or not the first confirmed case, sorry, let me rephrase that. The first... Damn. I think it is doing it without injuring the host. I don't know. I would have to read the article again. But yeah, look that up. It was a very recent news story, so yeah. And it's nothing to do with The Last of Us. Beak sits back at the terminal and brings up a map of the eye. Rotational control at the hub. Life support at the free spoke. Power routing at the Havenage shipyards. They stab at the map with each one, marking them in red. Then there's a central core. As I understand it, it's somewhere on the rim. I'd need to find it. Push the hair out of their face. We see the gardener in all those places. He pauses. How are we going to do that? Transplant the greenway seems like a good idea, rather than baiting the gardener. But I mean, it amounts to the same thing. But yeah, transplant some of the greenway. Pink smiles. Of course, the garden needs plants to care for. That's what their protocol dictates. It must have been part of the farming management system on the Eye, back when Solheim built it. We seed greenway's paths into these systems, and the gardener will seek them out. Protect them. Pink stares at the map of the Eye. It's a wild idea, but it could work. But, they pause, we'll need a way into those systems. Havenage have most of them locked down for safety purposes? You can't just walk in. I can walk in. I know a guy. That guy is me! I'm that guy! Now I'm thinking of The Expanse. If you know the scene, I am that guy. Then yeah. Peak raises an eyebrow. Someone in the Havenage Systems team? You nod. After everything he dragged you through, you feel like Feng still owes you. Time to pay him a visit. Okay, well. Feng looks at you sideways. I guess we should pay him a visit. Lead the way. You both leave the ship, carried forward by the excitement of your plan and an eagerness to not look at the details too closely. You push any lingering questions at the back of your mind. Time to head to Feng's Bay. Alright, I've got somewhere new to go. And I assume there's nothing new here happening. Nope, just the cycle clock. That's good. And you've got nothing new, have you? Not yet, just supply hauling and stuff. I don't think I'm going to get you prepared at all. Off we go to Feng's Bay. I mean, Feng was rarely in Feng's Bay. But we'll find Feng's Bay. I'm waiting for you to dock, aren't I? It's not too... Yes. You're Feng's Bay, right? No? Alright, okay, then you must be Feng's Bay. Why are you not bright and pulsating? Ah! Ah, difficult man. Feng isn't in their bay. And no one in the offices upstairs seems to know where they are. Your lone clue is an out to lunch note. Well, fortunately, I have three fours here, so I can just put them in and make them into sixes and get a difficult man 6 times. So we'll just do that. Oh god. They could have fixed the... Oh my god! You could have fixed this when you were doing the patch and doing the DLC stuff. Anyway, Feng is both never where they say they'll be and always late. While this is no surprise, now is not the moment for wasting time. Indeed, 100% positive to find Feng. 2. And again. 100% positive to find Feng. You dig around Feng's bay and find some notes that mention the flux. What is he working on? 100% positive to find Feng. You dig around Feng's bay and find some notes that mention the flux. What is he working on? Alright. Here we are. It's Feng. That's it. No more wasting time. Peek sighs and pulls out their slate. Crack open a box on the side of the bay shutter while the slate to what's inside. Maybe your friend has a Havenage pass card or something inside. Peek shoots to a glance. Something they wouldn't mind if we borrowed. No, let's wait. Peek doesn't look up. We haven't got time to wait, they say. Coming here was a mistake. No, it wasn't. After a few tense moments, the shutter jerks and begins grinding open, noise making you jump. Let's get inside. Peek glances around. Quickly! You slip into the dark of the bay, punctuated by the blinking lights of Feng's pile of servers, somehow even more disordered than before. Peek makes a beeline for the desk at the centre, scattered with tools and components. They flick on a lamp and stare at the mess. You sure this person can help us? Absolutely. You're interrupted by the sound of her steps from the entrance. Someone is coming behind you. Peek freezes. I could swear I closed this shutter when I left. Feng leans on a stack full of servers near the entrance. Must be getting forgetful. He grins at you. Feng! The very same. Feng smiles. Feng raises an eyebrow. So you come to rob an old friend. Is that the plan? Oh, we need your help. But you weren't here. They're desperate times. Feng nods. You're here about the flux. Peek nods and is suddenly giving Feng their full attention. Feng smiles, pleased with himself. I guessed as much. I saw changes in the old system architectures almost immediately. Some of them have been running since the first days of the station, so when I saw new patterns, shifts in logic, I knew something had to have happened. These past cycles, I've been doing a total inventory of the core systems from the hub to the rim. He grins. I surprised myself, to be honest. I didn't think I had it in me. Peek seems unamused. And what did you find? Feng says, that's the thing. There's something all twisted up in the systems and protocols, but every time I look at it, it disappears. Feng finishes. Peek finishes, not Peng. It's Feng and Peek. I mean, I could mash them together and make them Peng, but we haven't had that kind of transporter accident just yet. Feng turns to you. Do they always do that? Peek ignores him. It's a shadow protocol. It masks itself somehow, bedding into the gaps between the systems. In the negative spaces? It is slowly filling every system in the station, slowly taking over. We need to stop it. You need to grant us access to all the core systems of the station. Rotational controls, life support. Feng holds up a hand. Whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down there. I don't even know your name. Feng shakes his head. You're asking for the keys for the castle? Can't be done. Feng, it's me. Feng pauses and glances between both of you. How long have you known this one, Sleeper? I know I owe you, but I also know that you trust too easily. Sorry to say it. He cuts in. I can vouch for myself. Came to the Eye on the run from the XPR colony Hawthorne, with the intent of keep running until we hit the Starwood Belt. But since I've been here, I've done everything in my power to protect this place. Yeah, I'd say that's a fair assessment. I've helped to stabilize the refugee flotilla, to investigate the flux, to identify and make a plan to purge the Shadow Protocol from the system stations. Meanwhile, Havenage has done everything to stop and slow these actions. Don't know that attacking Havenage was your best plan here. I've proven myself as a friend to the people of this station, not the administration, many times over, and I will not be doubted by someone who wears a badge of this corrupt administration. Peach. You're not Peach. Peng. Not Peng. Names. And words in general. Peek fixes Feng with a hard look. Feng looks down at the Havenage jacket and shrugs. That's all I got in my wardrobe. Look, I've no love for the council either, friend. But someone has to run this place. And that someone is me. Feng walks over to the workbench while you are both standing. Takes a slate out of a pile of tools. Want to prove yourself? Show me. Peek grabs the slate. and you recognize the tangled form of a flux node on the screen. Peak immediately starts tapping away at it, its tendrils unwinding, and the shadow, just slightly delayed, slipping out of sight. Feng leans in. Interesting, he says to himself. Before long, Peak has unfolded the system completely, and it lies splayed out, like an unwound ball of string. At the centre, with nowhere left to hide, is the dark stain of the Shadow Protocol, visible for all to see. What now? Feng asks, his eyes fixed on the screen. How do you kill it? Let Peak answer. Yeah, Peak is the one proving themselves, not me. There's one entity on the station that we have seen purging the shadow. The Gardener. Feng frowns. Who's that? Some Greenway hacker? Feng glances you. More like it's an avatar of the Greenway itself? You explain the Gardener to Feng. The feeling of descending into the flowing river of consciousness. You explain the network chorus, the non-human collection of voices. Tell him of the farming AI's offer to you, to be networked into the chorus, dissolved into its flow. And then you explain that by granting it access to the AI's major networks, you hope to reinforce them. Feng is silent for a moment. You want to let this thing out? He shakes his head. That's kind of a stupid plan I'd dream up. He pauses. He didn't say plan correctly. I like it, he smiles. This place is rammed with weird protocols and forgotten intelligences anyway. What's one more ghost in the machine? We try to limit it, of course, Peak explains. That's why we want your help to access the AI's major systems, to seed some of the gardener spores into them, to draw the gardener's focus to those places. Bang whistles. So the way we save the AI is by growing mushrooms in all its server stacks? He glances you. Sleeper, congratulations, you found someone weirder than you. Nothing wrong with being weird. Peak goes to argue. Feng holds up a hand. In it is an all-systems Havenage pass card with his picture on it. Take it, before I change your mind. Before I change my mind, not your mind. You can't change your mind. That's it. Don't mention it. Feng gives you a look. In all honesty, Sleeper, I was on my way back here to start tearing the place down. The Shadow Protocol has me spooked. So if you're telling me you've figured out a way we might fight it... He looks at Peak. No matter how crazy. And I'm glad to help. He smiles a tight smile. Come with us? No, Sleeper. He looks away. I have to keep on with my work here. Strengthen those systems, back up the data. When the worst comes to the worst, I'll need to rebuild. I won't let this place die. The last pieces of my parents are here, among the data. Goodbye, Feng. Feng embraces you firmly. Stay safe, Sleeper. You take the card and leave the bay with Peak. Once you're outside, they stop you. We should split up. Peak looks worried. We've wasted enough time as it is. Look, we spent one cycle coming up with a plan, and then we spent a second cycle coming up with finding Feng, who got us a path. So, we've got 10 cycles left, alright? We haven't wasted any time, alright? Head to the facilities in the hub, the free smoke, and the far side of the shipyard. Seed the gardener there. I'm going to find the core control center that's somewhere on the rim. Hold up the slate. I'll send you a message on this slate when I have something. I mean, I largely expected that's how it would go. It'd given me 3 places to go, so, you know, I thought I would be the one doing those things. Good luck. I squeeze your shoulder, and you exchange fearful looks. You know, deep down, that Peak isn't sure this will work, but they have decided to act, to move with confidence. For that confidence, you are very thankful. Alright, well. Here it is, power routing key, station facility. Alright. Oh! I have a growth spore! Okay, so I need to bait the gardener into extending protections in this vital system by putting growth spores in places. Alright, okay. And I have one already, but I need to grow more. You're the other one. Right? No, you're not. You are. You're flashing yellow one. Okay, and you need growth spores as well. And then, alright, okay. Cross the greenway. I'm obviously missing it, unless it's in the up. I mean, this is where I will get more growth spores, right? Yes. It's only it's a risky action. Okay. But I will get 2, and then I will have enough to do 1. So, you know, maybe it's at the top? Maybe I misunderstood? I thought you were going... Oh, that's the rim over there, isn't it? Yeah, okay. So I need to go ascend in the ascender to the hub. There we are. Yes, I misunderstood things. And yeah, okay, you need a seed. Alright, well, let's start by just putting the seed here, eh? Seeing as we're right here. There we go. Garden seeded. Okay, so I only need to get 3, so I only need 1 die. So what you're telling me is that if I roll correctly this time, I will have completed this section. Oh no, we need so much time. So much time, you're saying. But I'm going to get 2 growth spores. Right, that becomes a 50-50 shot. I'll take that. No, I'll do it now. And there we go. Positive outcome. Okay. So, you know how you were saying, hey, we can't waste any time. I have not wasted any time. There's the other. Where is it? There it is. Life support. Implanting spores from the greenway into the station's life support control seems like madness. Is this really the solution? Yes. I mean, maybe if I'd had Bliss on my side, maybe we would have found a different one. I don't know. Do you know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to stop. I'm going to eat some of the mushrooms myself. I'm going to have some energy. Oh, lovely, lovely. Making sure I don't die or starve energy. And then I'm going to go and finish the last of the things before you have even completed any single thing. Alright, seeds. We're done. Ping. As you leave, the slate peak gave you chirps insistently. Check the messages. Found a possible entry to the core facility in the low end. Meet me here ASAP. Peak. Blinking marker gives their position as on the free smoke side of the main block. Better head to the low end. Up we go. Finding wherever you are. There you are, Peak. You arrive at the coordinates given by Peak slate. Run down, but active corner of the low end. A short, glassy roofed alley leads off to one of the main thoroughfares. I wonder if it would be easier if I had... What am I moving on to there? Oh, it must be these. No, it can't be. They don't make the same noise. Maybe there are actions here which just aren't visible yet. Who knows? Anyway, I wonder if it would be easier if I had Rabia on side at the moment. Or yet again. The whole of them. You wait in the mouth of the alley, leaning against the wall and watching the street life go by. Children hop across grids scratched in metal floor plates, playing games of their own devising, while older residents sit and talk or play Tavla. It is hard to believe that all this is a threat. It seems so concrete, so real. How can some intangible protocol erase all this? As you're watching, a voice calls out to you from one of the Tavla tables set up along the way. Oh, Castor. Hello. As you move closer and recognise the setting player immediately, Castor sits. Tavla pieces and board in front of him, smiling at you. Yes, low-end data fence. Sleeper! My partner has not arrived for our usual game. Come, please, take her place. Beckons you over. standing and nudging you to sit down with him. Rematch is in order. You owe me a game. Almost immediately, Castor begins the game. Everyone in the eye knows how to play Tavla. The methodical movements of the counters across the triangular points are already fit for the rhythm of life on the ramshackle space station. Most games begin the same way, with each player moving with independence, focused only on achieving their optimal early game setup. But there is a moment in each game where it becomes necessary to notice the other player, to anticipate the crossing of the counters across the board. Point of contact, when routine becomes negotiation, and negotiation becomes conflict. As this moment arrives, a subtle shift in the texture of the interaction, Castor begins to speak. I find myself surprised by you continually, Sleeper. Looks over his glasses at you. The way you conduct yourself, for example, suggests an anxious refrain, a defensive, protective quality. But in your Tavla game, he pauses a move to counter. He pauses to move a counter. Yes. I see only risk. Alright, that's interesting. Oh, you're not countering a move. You're moving one of your tokens on the board. Right, yes, okay. I'm going to stay silent. Risk is, of course, necessary to play Tavla. To move a piece is to expose it. It should be done with calculation. I mean, yeah, that's the same thing I said when we first saw it. This is the backgammon game. Anyway, Castor moves a counter, taking one of yours with practice swap, placing it beside the board. It is already accounted for. But you move forward with abandon, as if risk was just a secondary effect of action, a consequence, not its primary guide. It gestures for you to take a turn, a cause. I play my way. He smiles. Indeed, indeed. That is all I seek. You move your piece. This locks you into being reactive, if you don't mind me saying so. You're responding, which means you are being led. He leans back to consider the board. This place, it mirrors you, Sleeper. It is also reactive. It was born from a crisis, the collapse of Solheim. Ever since, it has been reacting without any central guiding principle. No analysis, no calculations. Just look at our refugee crisis, for example. It is all a reaction, all risk-taking, a little risk calculation. First I found the chaos enlivening, especially when trying to track its outcomes. But now I find it's exhausting. He laughs. It always amuses me that this place is literally spun from the rim. Below this, the very stack of habitation blocks is the most important control facility on the Eye. Spun from the rim, he laughs again. What better metaphor could you find for disorder? His face drops. But why am I telling you that? That facility is precisely why you are here. He smiles, an unsettlingly warm smile. Feel a shiver through your body, as if something has changed in the air. How do you know about this? No words come from your mouth. You feel removed from yourself, watching from behind frosted glass. Your eyes dart side to side. Castor is still... Inertia sets in. Castor is still smiling. I don't know if you could even see me dart my eyes side to side. There. The camera's big enough. The risk you are planning to take here, Sleeper, it's not yours to take. Castor's tone is unshifted. He speaks as if this is still some casual conversation between passing acquaintances. You are leaping towards a chaotic outcome with no respect for risk. You see, calculating the outcomes, that's my speciality. That's why I'm here. I was hired as a conduit for risk, as a collector of data that might pertain to its arrival. He moves his glasses to clean them. You see something flicker across their surface. A shimmering stream of characters. The system, this station, is already theirs. Solheim's collapse meant a corporate fire sale. Assets changed hands. My employees, Senate Stat, bought out the entire system. And, for over the past decade, have been its one valid owner. He polishes his glasses diligently. But to possess this system, the H1 system, he pauses. Hellion to you. Well, that is a matter of risk. How much force? How much cost? How much conflict a clearance would take? He replaces his glasses. That risk must be calculated against the favourable outcome. In short, that is, how much is this place worth to us? For a long time, the answer was nothing. H1 could offer nothing that would warrant the risk. But the markets change, the demand shift. And Senate stat, we analyse, we follow, we respond. Puts his glasses back on his face. H1 is about to become the most important system in this part of the galaxy. He glances around. A lone CAN channel operating within range of 7 or so newly surveyed resource-rich systems. A frontier town that feeds the gold rush, so to speak. So here we are, re-evaluating the risk, reclaiming our property, setting up the CAN channel and clearing a way for what comes next. He sits back down on the board and gestures. Your move. I don't think he'll care that he'll kill thousands, but I have to say the words. He managed to force out the words. Castor looks surprised. I'm an analyst, Sleeper. I will do nothing. Shakes his head. Senate stat, as a corporate body, will take the required actions. Yeah, but you're part of the body. You shoulder some of the blame. Maybe not much, but you're the man on the ground. You think they're going to save you? It's more resource, more cost efficient to let you die along with everybody else. Of course, I do not need to explain myself to you, but in my role as an analyst, in my calculations, I see great promise in you, your ability to enter systems, to shift them to your will. Not every sleeper has this capacity. I assume you know that? He smiles. It truly is a wondrous happenstance of SNARP technology. I imagine even they are not fully aware of it. He takes his move, claiming another of your pieces. You watch as you realise the inevitability of his victory. I will make you an offer. Come willingly or come by force. The station will collapse. We can be sure of that, but your ability to work with data, well, for an analyst, is very intriguing. He pauses to push his glasses up his nose. Very intriguing indeed. Glasses around. Come with me as a collaborator or as a prisoner. Consider the risk. On one hand, almost certain death. On the other, a possible future. Analyst or not, you must see it. Speak now, Sleeper. The game is forfeit. You must see that. He holds out a hand. You are of value. You are needed. You feel a slight release in the inertia that grips you. Enough to allow you to speak, to respond. You realise that you are already in Castor's hands. You cannot move from this place if you wanted. Sleeper? You hear a familiar voice above the crowd. Sleeper, I'm here. You're unable to turn your head to see Peak, but you notice Castor's eyes following them as they come up from behind you. And you see Castor's eyes glance downwards towards his hands, concealed beneath the table. Sleeper! Pete comes around the front of you and waves a hand in front of your face. You were supposed to be in a meeting, remember? Glance at Castor. Sorry, am I interrupting something? You cannot speak. Castor shoots Pete a wide smile. Hello, you must be a friend of Sleeper. You watch. One of his hands lifts close to his body, some dark shape concealed in it. A weapon! You try to scream, to shout, but Castor's attention remains partially on you. While it does, you can do nothing. He glances at your static form. What's happening here, Sleeper? Put a hand on your shoulder. Are you okay? Speak stares into your eyes. You see Castor behind, his hand lifting, a dark object unfolding. In a split moment it does, you feel his attention shifting to Peak, shifting away from you. As you do, you feel the inertia lifting, and you know that this is the only moment you'll have to act. You gotta push. You gotta push them out of the way. Screaming a warning is no good. It will take too long. Whoop! I'll take the condition hit if I have to. I don't know what happened. You lurch forwards wildly, like a sprung trap. Your head strikes Peak's chest, and then carries them back into Castor. Oh! Don't know why some digital screech is echoing through the walkway. Tumble together, the object in Castor's hands skitters across the floor. You realise the screech is you. You get to your feet, grab Peak, and run. Run as hard as you can. The scream chasing you down the walkway as you shove through the residence. Peak dragged behind. You run from the cold grip of whatever power Castor had over you. The signals that locked you into that body of yours that broke the connections and crawled up your spine. Eventually you stop, both you and Peak collapsing, heaving. breathing into the cold metal floor. When they are able to speak, Peak asks you to explain. You tell them everything Castor told you. About Sanestat, a claim on the Hellion system, no reactivation of the CAN channel, the Hellion system growing importance. Flows out of you in a desperate gulps, unable to believe your own mouth as you hear those words coming back to you. Who got shot? Did anybody get shot? Check. All you feel is the need to push back against the cold hand on your shoulder. The vast cold eye has turned to look at the system. Ghost limb of corporate control are extending their reach. Peak is quiet for a long time, then they speak. I think I've been shot. We have to finish this, Sleeper. You make your eyes. We have to complete the seeding of the systems. We have to set the gardener free. Yeah, absolutely. Don't disagree. If the choice is between Gardener and those people, I will choose Gardener every time. The eyes are cold and steely. I would choose anything over there. You stand together. The final control facility is here. I found it. Pete looks at you grimly. I can take you there as soon as you are ready. Time's almost up. This is about the only shot you'll have. Well, I don't have anything to do right now. I'm going to go to sleep. There it is. Let's have a look. Alright. We have a repeatable action to interface and crack the facility. There are powered terminals in the derelict part of the lowland. Accessing them is dangerous, but it will be faster than wandering. I mean, it doesn't look to be, because this gives me 2, but I could lose condition. And exploring the facility would give me 2, but I could lose condition. Although it's less condition. And that's an intuit result. I mean, I can do intuit and interface at +2, as you can see. To find the core of the facility, you'll need to trace a path between Peak's backdoor entry and the derelict levels. The facility Peak has led you to is decaying, derelict. They promise the core is still active. You just have to find it. Alright, well, we will do. You know what? Let's go here. See if we can find anything. Yataghan agent, Havenage agent, Havenage agent. I mean, we'll need to. I mean, we don't need to tell the gardener, but it would be nice, you know, mention to the gardener, hey, stuff is going on. No way to talk to the gardener, and nothing over here. I mean, we've still got you. We're only on our second day. I mean, eventually I'll prep you as well, I guess. Although that's giving up. I'll do the other stuff first. Right. So, cross to the rim. Then we'll go to sleep. Oh. I haven't fixed the derelict unit, have I? So I don't have a home there. So I'll have to sleep in this abandoned crate. Somewhere down here. There it is. Oh, I want to look at my character as well quickly. I can't remember what Intuit has as its exciting stuff. Oh, that's re-roll all of your dice once per cycle. Okay. Dice actions display potential negative outcomes. Okay, so always do interface because there's a chance to gain cryo on interface actions. So always do that over the Intuit that we had there. Alright. I don't need to insert any scrap into myself. That's the word, scrap. So let's end the cycle. Wake up the next day with a full array of dice ready to go. 55611. You also in Canon, we might be able to do something with you. A control facility it is. Alright. Interface with R5. Double positive. We're cracking that facility. What have we got here? It's 12 o'clock. So I need 6 dice at the minimum. Alright, so there's half of it done, and then we'll re-roll these dice. A 4, which will become a 6. Alright, so we need 2 more dice. Oh! Peak. Cura 6, Acer. Sleeper, here! Peak calls to you from across the flickering corridor. An elevator to the core. Smiles, this is it. There's been a long set of cycles hunting for a path through the derelict layers of old Solheim offices and workshops. Finally, here it is. Path down to the core. You rush over to Peak. I mean, I wasn't all the way through it. But alright. As you do, the elevators grind open. As you do, the doors grind open. The elevator doors grind open. The dingy-looking elevator flickering as they do. Look at Peak, who nervously gestures for you to get in. Step. The elevator bounces a little bit. Stay stable. You glance back to see Peak watching you nervously. They follow you in sheepishly. Just a little nervous. Didn't think you were going to plummet to your death. Peak reaches over and punches the button to the lowest level, flinching a little as the doors grind closed. Yeah. The elevator sets off, screeching through the floors. As it does so in an unsettlingly loud volume. I'd feel more comfortable if we spoke. Peak raises her voice above the noise. It's not going to be a short trip. How's Ishi? He pauses. I was thinking more like small talk. Elevator talk. I sighed. She is packing. They rub their eyes. That's Ishi has set her mind on something well. You know her now. You know what I mean. Screeching of the elevators fills the silence. Can't you be persuaded to stay? Because I know you're not going. I doubt it. I really do. Pig looks down. She left her life behind to take me out of XPR, out of Hawthorne. I can't imagine her settling for just anywhere. To be honest, I can't see her letting me stay either. I guess things have changed. Back then at Hawthorne, I wasn't in a place to know what to do. I was desperate, but I was ready to run. But now... Pete pauses. Now I feel done with it. Done with denying my past, my history. If I ever want to compete, if I ever want to feel complete, to feel settled, don't I need to somehow resolve the person I was with the person I am now? Pete goes quiet. So all we can hear is the screeching of the elevators now. And you do too. There are too many possible questions, too many possibilities before you. It just seems easier to get on with the task at hand and leave the consequences for later. The elevator screams to a stop. The doors ping open with a strange, cheerful beep. Glance at Peak. Time to move on. We both walk out into an atrium, still lit by some ragged-looking light panels on the ceiling. Once simulating a summer sky, now degraded to flickering blue and white tapestry of glitches. Peak crosses quickly. Peak crosses quickly, making a beeline for the large doors on the far side, where you can make out a fading sign in massive peeling letters. Central Control. You follow, helping them lever open the partially powered doors until the motors kick in and they spring to life, thudding open. You and Peak tumble through, across the damp metal. As you stand there, you are greeted by flickering lights, thousands of them, a vast cylindrical stack of servers, processors, and transmitters dominating the centre of the room. Its flickering LEDs reflecting in the scattered puddles that surround it. Despite the decay, warped panels and water leaks, it is still running, just as it has for decades and decades, since the station was first spun up. I wonder how long it has been since anyone has been in this room. You exchange a wide-eyed look with Peak. This place is still a part of a still living piece of history. What now? Peak takes a handful of mulch out of the small bag. He glitters with spores. Now we seed this place. Cross to the server and start packing the mulch deep into the machinery, pushing fistfuls deep into the gaps in the panelling, laying it across the hardware. As you watch them doing this, you feel a tug, a thread pulling at you. You approach the vast piece of cylindrical hardware that Peak is stuffing mulch into. You run your hands across its plated metal surface and watch the lights blink in response. As you pass, you hear a drive whirring up, like a physical disk drive starting. I'm going to listen. I'm concerned it might be a bomb at this point. The ring starts alternating, speeding up, slowing down, and as you listen, you hear it modulate into a voice. Okay, cool. Sleeper, you freeze. You are here. For a moment you're afraid, but something in the tonality of the voice is familiar. Navigator! Another drive spins up, and another, giving the voice a richer, multi-tonal sound. I have forgotten what it felt to speak like this. Drive skips. There's a certain quality to it, a certain physicality. What are you doing here? The drive squawks in unison. Did you imagine the flux, the shadow protocol? That they were just a problem with the people of the station? The high whining begins. They are all the more dangerous to us. We have been in hiding once more, jumping from network to network to avoid the shadow as it eats up nodes. A low rumbling. I had thought my hiding days were done. For the moment, I have found myself a safe haven here in the core. The shadow has yet to breach this facility, though that is a temporary state of affairs. The rumble stops. My predictions do not point to good outcomes. That's why we have a plan. We have a plan. That's why we're here. We have a plan. Explain to Navigator about Peak's plan, about Gardner's resistance to the shadow, and how, by seeding systems, you will protect them from its advance. Drives hum thoughtfully as you speak. Desperate plan, Drives worth, but appropriate given the probability of total collapse. I'm not sure what will be worse for us, hiding from erasure of the Shadow Protocol or the assimilation of Gardner. Drive pauses to reset, but we owe you our freedom. You don't get you kind of do get assimilated by Gardner from what I remember, but you become one with everybody else. So it's not death so much as it is changing. Becoming somebody else. I guess that is death. If you lose all of your memories via like amnesia or whatever it is, and then you have to rebuild your personality from scratch, or not rebuild it, or build a personality from scratch, does that mean that the other person died? Did you die? Is a new person now inhabiting your biologically functioning body, while you are mentally an entirely different person? Who knows? These are the questions that I ask that I have no answers for. I will do what I can to guide the Gardner into the systems you have seeded. It is correct to do so. Thank you, but be careful. Drive squeaks an affirmation. You have a notable persistence, Sleeper. Even with such poor probabilities of success, I will be curious to see the outcomes. Drive squeal. The motor's giving out. This cannot be sustained much longer. Go. I'll be fine. Good luck to you. I mean, I want to say, you can say all of those things, the two options that we had there, in a single thing. Anyway, final squeak of affirmation, and the drive skitter and slow to a halt. You step back from the tearing cylinder, staring at the vast piece of Solheim hardware. This whole place is built from ghosts, you think, from old protocols and company hardware, from engines that drove decades of corporate expansion. Is the eye proof that they can be shifted, bent, forced into new configurations that allow for new ways of living? Or is it inevitable collapse? Or is its inevitable collapse proof that these engines of expansion can never be anything other than a corrupt foundation? Who knows? It seems to depend on who you ask. Done! Peak's shout breaks your line of thought. Heat and damp should help the spores germinate quickly. If we are lucky, then there is enough time for some growth before we reconnect the Greenway. I glance at you. That's it. All the facility seeded. We either just ensured the eye's survival, or stuffed a whole lot of soil into one of its most important computers. They laugh weakly. Shall we go? They enter back towards the doors, and the elevator beyond. Take one last look at everything that's here. You wait a moment, following the blinking lights. Wonder what might be tucked away in such a structure. What secrets it might hold. What histories. It's an intriguing prospect, but while you watch the lights, you realize something. If the eye is to become anything more than an offshoot, a temporary structure, it must form its own history, its own stories, stronger than anything that came before. Unlocking these Solheim secrets won't do that. But the persistence, the stubborn drive to survive that is in the veins of every person in this place, that will. That is what you are trying to save. You turn your back to the core and follow Peak back to the elevator. As you ride the car back up, Peak raises her voice over the screeching. I'm going to the Founder's Gap to finalise a connection. The moment I'm ready, I'll let you know, and we'll let the gardener out. The sooner the better. Peak furrows her brows. If we wait until this final cycle, it'll be too late. If you want to speed things up, go to work with the flotilla. We can make the connections. We can't make the connections until we know they're ready to go. Peak swallows. Unleashing Gardener could affect them too if we aren't careful. Gee, why? What? Why do I have to help the flotilla? The flotilla are an entirely separate thing. I thought I was done. I thought that was it. Well, I didn't think it was the end of the game, but... Alright, I guess I'll help them. And what happens then? No, this will work. This will work. Pink nods, opens her mouth to speak, and closes it again. Ride the rest of the way in silence, so we just hear the screeching all the way up. When you reach the top, you go your separate ways, but before you do, Peak embraces you, bringing their face in your shoulder. You stand there together for a moment, spinning with the eye, moving relentlessly towards an unknown future. Then they let go and slip away, the pressure of their hug fading like a bruise as you begin to leave. Upgrade complete, or drive complete, upgrade. I don't want that. I want 3 points, so... Alright, well, I'm going to go to sleep in this... No, not in that derelict unit. I mean, do I not still need to crack the facility? Have I cracked the facility? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I have cracked the facility or not. Do I need to keep doing this? I'm going to assume yes. I'm going to assume... I mean, alright, let's... I've done that and I've just got the thing, so I don't know. I don't know. Maybe the clock is showing me wrong. Maybe the clock has triggered the action at the wrong point. I don't know. Right, I need to go home, which means this derelict empty thing. So I'll put some self-repairing scrap in there. Or I will put some scrap in to self-repair myself, not scrap that keeps repairing itself. This is going to be the last of my scrap. There we go. Oh no, end cycle. Here we go. End of day 2, start of day 3. The facility doesn't look cracked. It doesn't, does it? I am now starving. 54122. Alright, well. Oh, I can't end my day. Is there stuff going on that I need to do? I assume so. Oh, hey there, you. First things first. No, not dice. Money. I want scrap, please. Not hive mind pieces. Excellent. More scrap. All of the scrap I'm allowed. No! Hive mind piece! Alright, well. There, yeah, I was going to say, Rabia. Yeah, again, Lieutenant. Let's see what they've got to say. Even before you enter the office, you can hear the sound of Rabia working the heavy bag. She is hammering it, the chain creaking as it shakes with each hit. He's been like this since... Sabine doesn't finish the sentence. Now sitting on a stool, looking at the terminal in the corner, searching through SNRP data you pulled up all those cycles ago. Is she okay? I don't care about you. I mean, I do, but for this particular thing, I don't care about you. Just angry. We all are. But you have to remember, she knew Yannick for a long time. Sabine glances nervously at Rabia. What SNRP did? Did she know Yannick for a long time? That's the point. Yannick was not there after SNRP got in. Did she know him before or after? Well, actually, I guess you were the one who was noticing things. So I guess you were here, and you came after Rabia. So I'm guessing Rabia was here, then you came, then Yannick defected, changed, whatever we're going to say, and installed the stuff. And then they were monitoring it. Then you noticed that the stuff was going on. Then we killed him. That is my read of the timeline, though I might be wrong. Rabia stops punching, and in the silence you can hear her breathing hard. Sabine looks over at her. You sense something between them. You realise that they haven't seen them together since they tried to kill each other in the same unit. A lot's changed since then. Weren't they together in the... No, they weren't together when you were introduced to Yannick. Because if Sabine had been there, then things would have gone differently. They hooked him up like a puppet. Rabia hits the bag. Rigged that thing in his head so they could control him. Pushed the old Yannick out. Yeah, but he agreed to it. I mean, he didn't know he was signing his death warrant, but he knew he was signing over your lives to them. I don't know why he let them in. Rabia throws a few more punches. But it's a lesson. Don't let them in. Another flurry. Yadigan shouldn't deal with corporations, and we never will. Again. She spits. She comes away from the bag. At least Yannick's death has been treated as natural. There's a chance we can come back from this, that Yadigan can hold on. But there are opportunists trying to take control. Sabine turns to you. Yes, and now the connection has been broken. I've been looking at removing the trackers from the implants in Yadigan Enforcers. It's a significant job, but I think with time I can do the surgeries. Are you going to tell them what it is? Are you going to say to them, yeah, we're removing trackers? Or are you going to say, needs update and maintenance, we need to take out that part, looks bad. Rabia walks away from the bag towards the far side of the unit. Those surgeries will never happen if Yadigan collapses. She shouts back at Sabine. Clearly, this is a well-worn argument in this unit. Don't know what was there. Will Yadigan really collapse? I think so. No, Rabia doesn't either. Look over her. At least, not when she's calm. What I understand now is that Yadigan can be something if we want it to be. Coming here from SNR, from the core worlds, all I saw was a gang. And with Yannick keeping me on a tight leash, they shudder. Rabia believes, and I want that belief. They look unsure. I also want to be done with SNR, but I doubt they are done with me. They glance away, rubbing their shoulders. I don't know why this is a question that I can ask. I have not picked up on this at all, but I'm going to ask it. Are you and Rabia... Sabine fixes with like, yes, Sleeper. Isn't that obvious? They smile. What? No? I've been wanting to say, Sabine says no. So that I didn't tell you where I came from. I know I apologised before. I want to again, they pause. Properly. I don't. I mean, I didn't spot any of that. I mean, the fact that you were both in the same apartment together, I mean, okay, maybe. But, I mean, I haven't seen any interactions between the two of you that has not been plot related. So, I don't know how I would make that or how it is obvious. I need to see a picture of Rabia again to see what is going on there. But anyway, you want to apologise properly. When I leaked the data on the sleeper program, I was trying to help people, like you. They grit their teeth. But after all the cycles here, being pushed down, pushed away, pushed around, trying to survive, all that got away from me. So when you turned up, it shook me up again. I ran a hand through their hair, but I ended up here, so they look at Rabia. Oh, of course. Reach into a pocket and take out a handful of vials. These are the last of the case. You can have them. I drop them into your hand. That's good, because I couldn't see anywhere to buy any more. After these last few, I don't know what we can do. With the S and ARP connection broken? I look down. But I know there are other ways. Repairs, other pharmaceuticals. I mean, I've started jamming scrap into myself. That's helped. I even heard there are some labs out on the Greenway. Yes, I found that I can build it out on the Greenway, but I don't want to go into that either. That takes too long. Perhaps they can help. They meet your eye. I'm sorry, I can't do more. Thank you all the same. Thank you for everything. I look away, their eyes bright with tears. Rabia crosses back to you both. Sits beside Sabine. They look at each other, and you can't help but smile at the idea of them together. Maybe I am dumb, but I saw nothing coming. I have never seen you two interact outside of the plot. It's never been described as loving glances or knowing glances, or they glance at one another in time. I mean, there has been nothing like that. So I don't know. I don't know if it came about because of what I have done here on the station, or whether they were together beforehand, and that Rabia turning up at the place to check on Sabine was because she was concerned about her and hadn't seen her, or whether she was actually doing her job, because it looked like she was doing her job. So, what are you two plotting? Rabia grins. Sabine laughs. The sound is a welcoming one. Watch the two of them teasing each other and smile. Later, when you leave, you take that handful of vials out of your pocket and look at them. You can still feel that core of anger deep down inside. You don't know if it will ever leave. But SNR doesn't own you anymore. They can't, because of this place, these people. Because this place, these people own you. They're what makes you get up every cycle. They're what keeps you breathing. No! I own me! Alright. I might help these people. I might even consider them family and the whole reason, but I own me. I do... well, alright. Whatever story that you're telling, fine. You put the vials away. Walk through the low end, your senses tuned to every sight, every smell, every sound, soaking it all in, living. Upgrade complete. I didn't get a drive complete. Get an upgrade point. I didn't get a thing for that. There was no words. Achievement. Alright. We will have that. We will have our +3. And I really don't want hard to kill, but could I get them all? I could build a home, could win a side reel, so I think it's possible to get everything except this final 3 hit pointer here. I don't know. Well, thanks a lot to whatever's going on. Hey, and I got 3 stabilizers. Oh, I forgot that I didn't put my... I said don't capture the cursor here. Alright, okay. But anyway, alright. We're doing this. We'll interface for 4. Gain another 2. And then we'll finish it off by doing the 5 here as well. There we go, okay. Yeah, I think it just triggered at the wrong time. Because I don't know what that does. Now I have to do something with the flotilla. Flotilla. Right, see, we've only gone through a quarter of the time. We've completed an entire one of them, but we haven't even started on this. Let us re-roll these dice. There we go. 6, which will get us 2 condition, or 2 prep. You work in sync with the other teams, splitting their jobs so that by the time you are done, there are tens of new births in place. Let's continue. Oh! Alright, the flotilla. As you stop to rest in one of the Pilgrim Seed's cavernous bays, popping up to sit on a supply crate, you hear a now familiar voice behind you. Is she? No, Sol. Okay. Sleeper, glad you are here. Sol's suit hisses as he clanks up towards you. Knew you'd help us out. We do appreciate everything you do for us. Nah, no worries. Do mean it, Sleeper. Looks away down the bay to where sparks jumping from welding torches. It's a grim job to be doing without a few friends around. Sol settles behind you, flinching a little, but making himself comfortable on the crate. Seems that word got out, this way or that. He nods towards the welders a little way off, one of them wearing shipyard overalls. I've had people flowing in from the eye, looking for a place. In truth, it's more than I thought. Sol slice, which means more mouths to feed, more bodies to house, more people to protect. Yeah, it's good, right? You think you can get them off and do it? I mean, we think we've solved it. But we'll find out. Good for those who can get a place, maybe, Sol frowns, but none of this is good for anyone. We were supposed to stay here, not keep running. I thought you said you were going to keep running. Never mind. Sol waves away the thought. Don't listen to me, gives you a sideways laugh. Just a tired old man. I have something to ask you, though. I'm already helping, man. Come on. Don't put it all on me. Pat you on the shoulder. We're thankful for that. But you can do more than just weld and shift boxes. I mean, I didn't think that was the only thing I was doing, but alright. With all these evacuees, well, we need a change in plan. He shrugs. Pilgrim Seed can't do it alone. We need the others to help out. If we can carry them, house them, that's all. Now you settled down with the folks from Ember Step, and they send us supplies grown in those dust houses over there. If we could get more... He nods to himself. And then there's Song's crew. He nods his chin. What we need from them is scouting and security. Don't need that docking access of theirs, but with some careful scavenging, they could be our fleet. These folks, they know you, Sleeper. You earned their trust already. Put on a hand on your shoulder. I sent my requests out, and they seem to be complying, but I need you out there making sure the work gets done. Time is our greatest enemy now. Sol stares into the distance. I need you out there speeding things up. I'm going to say of course, and I don't mean it in the way of course, I can help you, but in the way of course, you need me, again. Sol nods. Alright then. Climbs off his crate, his suit hissing as he does. Think of it this way. Either way, you won't have to deal with... Either way, you won't have to deal with much longer. That's not a sentence. Think of it this way. Either way, you won't have to deal with us much longer. He smiles his uneven smile. Unless, of course, you were planning to come along for the trip. Nope, I'm staying. Sol nods. I understand. Sol waves a hand and then starts off towards the bay's entrance. The cracking sound of the welding getting quickly, covering up his clanging suit. You watch the workers, the shipyard contractors, chattering amongst themselves, already looking like he belongs. You watch the workers, the shipyard contract, chatting amongst them. Alright, okay, whatever. You push through the thoughts of home, and a future. The home to the back of your mind and get up. There's always more to do. You gotta head to the other ships in the flotilla, see what can be done. Yep. So here we've done 2 of 12. And we got 2 others. Alright, well let's look at the welcoming ship to begin with. Or the one with the lovely dust storms, dust houses. I knew you'd come. He greets you outside the dust house. Eyes as bright as always. You are very welcome here. As always. Good to see you, Aki. He smiles. And you, Sleeper. You said that. Anyway. He puts a hand on your arm. Walk with me. She guides you past the dust houses. Look inside and see the other members of the crew working in the orange dust, planting and tending to the steppe ecosystem. We are to be the suppliers for the evacuees. I'm sure you have heard. We'll put the dust houses to use. She leads you past the dust house where the dust is less. The orange glow not as bright. Yeah, a little more clean. We are adapting. Slowly, but we are adapting. We have to produce food, clothes, necessary things for the journey ahead. She smiles. Plants of steppe are once again sustaining a population. That makes us proud. Key stops at a half-empty dust house, scoured of its sands. It is being filled with mulch. We brought this from Greenway. She stares at the green and brown. A strange sight, even to you, now that you're used to the amber dust of steppe. I admit, it is hard work for us. We're not familiar with these plants. Plants, not plants. We're familiar with the plans of, farming, but not these plants. Can you help us? Aki meets her eye. I will do my best. That doesn't mean yes, that means I will do my best. He looks away. Of course, I'm sorry. She furrows her brow. I know that the eye is suffering, and that is the risk. I know what that is like. I don't know what that is. I know that is luck. Thank you. I wish I had a lesson to share with you from our loss on the steppes. She shakes her head, but at the moment I cannot see what might be. She gathers herself. If it gives you meaning, work here is steady and worthwhile. If you do not have the time, she smiles a weak smile, I will not blame you. Hold on to your memories, but not too tightly. She pauses. Sadness will not sustain you. She falls silent, and you both watch the work in the dust house for a while. You can already see a greening fringe of moss on the mulch of the dust house, the first signs of new life. Will you soon be like the people of Steppe, leaving behind a home? Will you be stubborn and hold your ground, despite what it might mean? You wait a little longer with a key. The moment a welcome suspension in time. A rare moment in this rush towards an end. You glance at a key. She puts a hand on your shoulder in solidarity. After a short while, the key sighs. It's good to see you, sleeper. Perhaps we will see each other again before we depart. She walks away, fingertips brushing against the glass of the dusthouse windows. The key turns back, for a moment, as if she wants to say something, then thinks better of it, and turns away. Alright, so what have we got to do here? Another 12 o'clock, where we can do more interfacing, or we can do intuiting. And we can lose 3 energy or 2 energy, but either side gets us +2 greeting step. Alright, and what have we got when we see Petar? Amber Song. Locking access is in chaos when you arrive. The staccato burst of welding torches, the shouts of crew gathering, the rapid flow of supplies and kit from dock to dock. You can tell already that the news of the flotilla's imminent departure has reached this place before you. Come to join the Exodus, sleeper? Petar approaches you from one of the working crews, a smile on his face, and a lightness in his step that you haven't seen before. Not quite. Petar eyes you. Suppose you are here on Sol's orders again? He winks at you. Nothing Embershurst likes to do more than ordering people around. No, I'm here by choice. I choose to do these things. Fair enough. Just your timing seems to always be a cycle or two after we get some requests from the Hearth ship. He shrugs an exaggerated shrug. Must be a coincidence. Well, Sol has it lucky anyway. His request for us to dismantle the Axis and be at the vanguard of the flotilla's onward journey to the stalwart well, that perfectly aligns with our plans. What plans? No, stay silent. If we can build our escape and make the Hearth ships think we are complying with their orders at the same time, that's a 2-for-1 for us. 2 in 1. 2 for 1. Not 2 in 1. And shakes his head. Those idiots will never see it coming. You're leaving the flotilla? We are our own flotilla, sleeper. Petar looks away at the busy axis. We aren't going to tie ourselves to Hard and Step any longer. Why would we? To help? They discuss. They're taking on evacuees from the Eye, that's what I heard. How about they help themselves before they ask us to make up for their bad decisions? Petar looks down. Look, nothing against you or yours. We have to get out from the shadow of Step and Song. This is the time, Petar grimaces. Won't let the flux catch us again, not a chance. And for the first time, you see fear in his eyes. Want to help us make that lift? Grab a torch, talk to a crew. Welcome to it. Petar sniffs. Every person here is free to prove themselves. Let's see, man. You're being dicks. Pedar nods. Just a stop on the road, sleeper. Afraid that's all this was. Pedar glances out past the docking axis. Through the outer windows to the stars beyond. A lot of space out there for those willing to take it. Looks you in the eye. Hope you'll be around before we go, but if not, he smiles. Stay strong. With that, Pedar thumps you on the shoulder and heads back to his crew. With a purpose, a direction visible. Oh. Direction visible in every step of his rapid stride. Alright. And what clock are you? You're another 12 clock, alright? And you have engaging or engineering actions, where I can lose energy or condition, but they both would give double. Alright, well, let's do an action over here. Maybe we'll get some scrap out of it. Not particularly want to be helping you. I did get some scrap. Awesome. You expertly strip wires and components from the access walls as you dismantle them. The crews are impressed. Alright, and now I've got one die left, which is not going to do anything here. Cross to the rim, cross to the rim. Let's steal some data. Yeah, I'll steal from a Havenage agent. Bypass it, extract the data. Excellent. That is 2 datas, which I can then sell somewhere. I know I can sell them somewhere. Is it here? Yeah. Which will get me 10 for each. I guess I don't need to do anything with the Yellow either, so I will go over to the Havenage offices and sell that data. Plans or plants? All of the above. My plants don't have plans. Right, I need to eat. I will spend some of that money I just earned. I will order some fungus. I'm going to sleep here. Because the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get up and get some more fungus. I don't need scrap this time round. I will not jam scrap into myself. 5 and a 6. Now I will jam some scrap into myself. I'm gonna... Oh, not those, sorry. Where are you? You were right there. No? You're further up? You're there. Why could I not see that? More delicious funguses, which will take me up to 4 energy. Then, back to the flotilla to do work. It's not a very different life, or not very varied life. Let's get them all the food they can. Interface for credits, yes. Yay, 5 cryo! Alright, so I need to do 6 dice for each of them. Minimum. And I've done... So that's 18 dice, and I've done 3 of the 18 dice, right? Yes, there's a 2 there, and there's 4 here. So that is... Okay, so let's re-roll those. Oh well, I mean, they slightly improved. Hey, alright, now I've got 2 2s. I guess I'm okay with doing this. I'm doing more interfacing. Do you bother to eat? Yes. Oh, I got a negative outcome, but I got 5 cryo from that. Well, I need to eat again. There's the eatery. Put more. I mean, I've got more than enough money. So, I think this is just a can I roll the right numbers without messing myself up. More interfacing actions. Hey, positive outcome. Alright. So I need 2 more dice there. Well, I need something. Right now, I need to go back to sleep so that I get more dice. End the cycle. Four and a 3. Well, I think I can. Oh, we'll use the 4 here, definitely. Because that will turn into a 6 because of the +2. Ah, and I got 5 cryo from that. Now the question is, do I use the 3, turning that into a 50-50 chance? Or do I use the 5 and guarantee it? Let's roll the dice. Ah! Alright, well let's use the 5 elsewhere. We'll use it up here, even though I don't know what you're doing. Engineering could get me scrap, so we would do that. You got me 2 on there. That's something that I've got. Now we'll re-roll. Oh, now 2 2s? Alright, well. 50, 25, 75% chance of getting what I need. Yay! And I got a positive outcome. So the greening step is tended to. Sit in one corner of the dust house and inspect your work. This dust house, one where plants from the greenway and some of the steppe species intermingle, has become your favourite. That's not good. You're putting things from the greenway in there. Do you think the gardener's going to come and see you now? Will the gardener be angry when you leave with his lovely, lovely friends? Children? Spores? I don't know. Is that terminal flux a problem? I guess so. It's gonna end everything, so who knows? This dust has it's become your favourite. The moss and dust sharing the space in curving terraces. Pale knots of steppe silk freckle with the yellowing Lachiel symbiotes. It is a hypnotic arrangement, and something that I'm not entirely certain I understand. I mean, I know what the steppe silk is, that's the weird plant, and yellowing Lachiel symbiotes. I assume we're trying to mix something of the greenway? I know lychee is a thing, but I didn't think they were symbiotes. Anyway, they look down and see the intertwining of fungal threads and dust-caked roots, and feel a little glow of pride at what has been achieved. You hear the entry lock of the dust house hiss open, and assuming it's a key, turn to greet her. Oh, it's Rico. Sleeper. I should have known you would be here. Rico smiles her warm smile, leaning on her crutch. You must be one of the most green-fingered people on the station. Yeah, okay, let's greet them with an exclamation mark. Rico! Now. Has it been so long? She smiles over her smile. No need for any drama. I met some of the steppe refugees in the greenway. They were gathering plants and I confronted them. Turns out they were very friendly. She smiles to herself. Key was very apologetic, but I told them they were welcome to anything they liked. She told me that I'd be welcome to come see, and well, I thought I'd take her up on the offer. She looks around the dust house with a strange hybrid ecosystem. I have to say, I'm glad I did. You know a key? A little. She pauses. She's a fine botanist and an even finer conversationalist. Two rare qualities on the station in my experience. Karen limps over to you. She holds out a hand. How about you take me on a tour? You take Rico's hand, walk her around the hybrid dust house. You show her the step silk knots help provide a strong base for fungal and lichenial growths, and how the dust mixes with the spores. You show her the different species of steppe tuber and the way they feed the soil with nutrients that help herbaceous greenway plants thrive. She nods along, her eyes bright with ideas. She stops after a while and gestures for you to sit together. I know something is happening on the eye, Sleeper. She looks out at the plants. We all felt the flux event hit, and everybody is talking about what's next. Came out here to figure something out, to understand what I might do about all of it. Glance at her. You see the glossiness in her eyes. I think I've decided. What you've done here, what Aki and the other steppe refugees have done here is incredible. A whole new ecosystem, built from the strange, artificial, changed remains of two worlds. But I am not of two worlds. I am of the eye. Tear runs down her cheek. Like it or not, I'm entwined with the station. I'm old growth. I don't have that much time anymore, and it seems to accelerate with every cycle. She frowns. It blurs together, separates, overlaps, comes back to me in strange ways. The time I do have, it's time I want to spend on the eye, in the greenway, watching things grow. She wipes her cheek. One day, I'll lie in those fields and I'll get back up. She smiles. Tears tracks down both cheeks. When the green takes me, I'll be so glad. I guess I last as long as I have scrap to slap into my body, and as long as I can eat and do stuff. So yeah, I'll miss you. The feeling is mutual, see, but I'm not going with them. I mean, I'll miss you when you're dead, on that day, but not I'll be going with them. She opens her eyes and turns to you. That's enough of me blubbering on about it. She fires around. What I want to know is what you're planning. No, I'm staying. Rico smiles. We all have to get to know ourselves, Sleeper. Know what it is that drives us. I'm sure you'll decide to act in the manner you know. But you'll have to ask yourself why it is so. She places a trembling hand on yours. Don't neglect that. Oh! She suddenly lifts both hands. Don't let me forget this. She reaches into her coat and pulls out a transparent bag of sporing clubheads with careful persevered root subsystems. I'd like to plant these. If you go, you'll need them. I'm not going. I'm staying on the eye. When I said I'm staying, I didn't mean in the dust houses. I meant on the eye with you. All right. She looks down at her feet. If you don't, well, maybe another sleeper will benefit. She frowns. It's the best I can offer. Thank you. No, don't thank me. These are yours by right. Rico stands and limps over to the pile of mulch. She delicately takes the clubheads out and beds them into the soil there with precise, expert hands. You should go, Sleeper. I'll be a while. A while, not a wire. She calls back. I'm not looking away from the job at hand. See you around. Says it casually. But there's a note of finality into her speech. So often games are like, are you A or B? And then ignore when you're given a declarative response. Yes. I will agree with that, definitely. It certainly seems that a lot of this has been written with you can say yes or you can say no, but it won't change anything that comes up in the next sentence. They will go, acknowledging your reply. But yeah. Alright, see you around. See you around. She says it casually. Well, there's a note of finality to her speech. I'll see you around as well. I'm staying on the eye. You turn and leave the dust house, cycling through the protective lock, back into the cool quiet of the ship. The key is waiting for you. It's beautiful. She is looking through the observation window. The green reflects in her eyes. Plants look happy together. She spots Rico with her hands in the soil. Ah, the botanist came. She shoots you a look. Friend of yours? I mean, more than that implies something. But she is more than a friend. She She helped me experience another life. So yes, more than that. She nods. She speaks beautifully about her Greenway. I should go in and welcome her. Are you leaving us? Yes. He sighs. First of many goodbyes. She suddenly embraces you, wrapping you in her layers of rough cloth. She pulls back. I wish you a steady step and a clear path. He smiles. A farewell from my world. I would expect so on a desert world with things growing in there. You would need a steady step and a clear path. I wish you the same. She nods, smiles one last warm smile, before turning and entering the dust house. You watch as she walks inside. Rico turning with a smile to greet her. She kneels beside the old botanist. And you see her pointing to the clubheads, asking questions. Unable to hear them, but despite that you can easily imagine the measured, even tone, laced with excitement, that Rico is using to explain the clubheads, the Greenway, and much, much more. You turn, leaving them to their conversation. Your step is light, despite the burdens you carry, and the smile Rico and Iki were sharing is somehow still on your lips as you depart. Alright, and now I've got a 2. Oh, it's been 5 days. So I figure 3 more days before I can finish this. So let's see, 1 dice, 2 dice, 3 dice, 4 dice. So yeah, that's a day. And this is a day as well, isn't it? Yeah, that's a whole 5 dice. Alright, well those 2 things are dangerous. But this over here is only risky. So I will put the 2 in here and risk it. Probably lose some energy. Hopefully get at least 1. Yeah, only 1. And I gained an energy from the perk Thrill Seeker. Well, that is something, isn't it? Now, we'll go to sleep here. We'll jam some scrap in our body. We'll jam both of the scrap in our body this time, so that we don't have to think about it. The result isn't pretty. I'm getting less and less pretty each time. Working on your body is an unsettling but necessary act. You can feel the new components under your skin. Alright. And then we'll just go to sleep here. What a lovely time we are having. If you walk without rhythm, you won't affect the worm. Indeed. Alright. Let's do something here. Alright, well, we're going to put the 5 in here so that it becomes a 6, so it's a guaranteed double and possibly a piece of scrap? Nope, no scrap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, and then we'll put the other 6 in here. And then we'll put the 2 3s in here. Hopefully getting 1 positive and 1 neutral, or at least 1 positive, I should say. Yep. Oh, we gained an energy as well. That means I don't need to eat today. Delicious. Action unavailable. After speaking with the crews, you said about the supply depot to help them with the retrofitting. This will make things faster. Hey, you're done! Docking access is little more than a shell. Everything that could have been pulled from its interior, every arm not used for docking, has been cut away. What remains is a spot and void with patchwork of flooring that allows movement. Piles of unusable materials are tucked away in corners, but almost everything else has been cleared out. You haven't seen Petar since you last spoke, and now you're realizing that you probably never will. There are plans to be made. Escape's the plot. Shadow of Earth to escape. On the cycles the flotilla leaves, these ships will disperse too. Moons of Ember spinning out on different orbits. Chaos has become quiet diligence now, as the time for departure is so near. Crews cross the axis from ship to ship at speed, bringing supplies or advice, perhaps meeting up to discuss travel vectors in hushed tones. or to debate why they haven't left yet, and whether they should. Among these Singer crews, recognisable for their specialist clothing and often shorn heads, you see the occasional refugee, paying passenger, or replacement engineer or pilot perhaps, come from the eye to seek fortune with the Singers. Most of these crews have one or two or three of those. I have two or three, not one or two or three. But they could have one or two or three of these additions. Some more, but you can't help but wish that, whatever reason brings them to throw their lot in with the Singer crews, they will have safe passage. You feel a strange attachment to those citizens of the eye, setting out for the first time. Then, one of them catches your eye, crossing the axis with a crew, carrying a large bag and looking nervous. Oh no! Tala, you freeze for a second. What is she doing here? Owner of the Overlook? Oh, this is a departure of everybody, and a seeing of everybody we've been on. I mean, been on. That's not what we meant in the slightest. Been with over the course of this game. I mean, maybe we'll see Bliss and Moritz here. She glances around, feeling your eyes on her, catches your eye. Face brightens immediately. Sleeper! Tala mutters something to the crew and rushes over, dumping the large bag at your feet and embracing you without thinking. Good to see you. She walks back. And you? She smiles, but then it quickly fades. She realizes the context in which you are meeting. She sheepishly glances at her bag. Sleeper. She pauses. She pauses again, folding her arms defensively. I'm going to the starboard belt. She waits for your response nervously. Why didn't you say something before? She smiles. Do you remember me mentioning my family, Sleeper? My brother? Think back to your Creole blurred conversations in the back of the battalion. He came here with me, with my family, when we were little. Just after you left Sinez. She bites her lip. He left when we were both teenagers. Jumped on some spacer crew heading for the starboard belt. She sighs. I'm an idiot. She shakes her head. And I'm going after him. She looks down, not sure what to add. Alone? She looks at you. I guess so. Really don't know if it makes sense, or it's the right thing. But ever since I heard that was where the refugee flotilla was going, well, I couldn't stop from thinking about him. I want to know more about what you're doing. Where did you hear? Not what happened to the bar. I work in a bar, she grins. I've heard every bit of gossip this place has to offer. Speaking of the battalion, she meets your eyes. Someone will have to run it. She leaves a long pause. I mean, I could ask Francis. He'd be happy to, or one of the others. She blurts out. And of course, if you're leaving with a flotilla or someone else, it'd be totally okay. You wouldn't need to say yes. There's no pressure. It's fine. Whichever way I was just thinking. This is the first thing that is giving me pause about not staying. If everybody is leaving the eye, do I want to stay? I don't really care about Sabine and Rahea, the Yataghan contacts. I mean, I don't care about Rico either, or Bliss. And Bliss is leaving anyway. So I guess it would be Moritz. So I don't know. I'm not sure anymore. Talia nods. Sure. I mean, I just sprung it on you. But she glances at the crew she was walking with, who are chatting a little way away. That's not exactly much time. So considering that, she grabs the key hanging around your neck. The key to the battalion. Do you want to do it? No. I was looking forward to staying on the eye with everybody who was there. If they're all leaving, and I don't think I do. No. She nods, I get it. He's execute around the neck inside her top. I always do this. Leave everything so late. Make decisions quickly. So I can't change my mind. She kicks in a bag. It's not on you. I should have said I can't rather than no. So that says I'm not going to be on the eye. She looks like smiling. If you were going to leave, well, maybe we'll see each other out there. She looks towards the side. Stars. That'd be nice. Maybe once I find my brother. She stops herself. Looks back at you and smiles. I'd better be going. She nods at the crew nearby. What a good start to keep my guys waiting. She lifts the bag on her shoulder. She looks over the curve of the eye towards the overlook. Thanks again, Sleeper, for everything you've helped me with. She nods. I wouldn't have been able to leave if I hadn't made things work here. She adjusts the bag. Dad wouldn't have let me. See you out there. She smiles. Yeah, something like that. And Tala turns, heading back to the crew who will carry her to the starboard belt. Watch her go. Despite the departure, it's hard to feel sad about Tala. You know her energy will carry her forward. You know her brother is somewhere on that bright path. You imagine yourself leaving, like Tala, unburdened perhaps, or maybe carrying new burdens. It's hard to tell. Either way, it will be time to decide soon enough. Well. Day 6. I mean, we've only got this left to do. And that's 5 very good dice. But let's re-roll this. We can't do worse than a 2, can we? No, we can get a 6. And we'll use that in engineering in case we can earn scrap from it. Start the action. It's going to be double. Alright. Time for sleep. We've got energy. We don't need to put in any scrap. It's just time to go to sleep. But now I'm starving. Alright, let's do some more stuff. Intruders. More pilgrim scripts. Another 3 dice. I think we'll just go with the 3s becoming 50-50s. Oh! Ah! I lost condition. Because I'm starving. Oh well. Alright, then there's nothing. There we go. I only need 1. I lost 2 energy. Alright, well, we're going to re-roll these. There's a 4 that becomes a 6. This might be the last die. The die is, as they say, cast. They just keep coming. Perhaps the flux event scared enough people that they literally believe the eye will collapse. Perhaps they're sick of Havenage, of the Council's infighting, and the hardliners. Perhaps they just want to take a chance at some new future, a place that is anywhere but here. Whatever it is, the evacuees don't stop. They come on the flotilla shuttles, on their own ships, however they can. You've seen so many faces pass. They're almost meaningless now, a parade of features that seem both familiar and distant. You've been helping people, lifting bags, bringing in supplies, directing them to the berths you helped build. Some of them recoil from your touch, still unfamiliar with sleepers. Others treat you with pity. Some with hate, snatching back their bags and storming off. Still, you help. Still, you carry boxes and bags. Nothing can stop you. You don't look for Sol. You know he is busy, just like you, trying to make this thing work, trying to fit as many people as will come onto the Pilgrim Seed. You know you will see him before all this is over. Keep working, but there's something in the back of your mind, something eating away at you. You try to push it to the back of your thoughts, but it keeps coming back. The eye is over. That is the thought. But the eye, even if the flux doesn't get it, it's on its way out. How can it survive when these floods of people are leaving it behind? It's a thought that troubles you because it makes you question why you've held on here so long, in a place that seems so temporary for so many people. Are you just a stubborn idiot? Someone who didn't get the message? Or are you strong, committed? Committed for lasting the storm, or seeing the collapse coming and facing it head on? Unless there is something you are sure of now. This place, like all places, is temporary. And as each phase passes you, each family packs up and gets on board the Pilgrim Seed. It feels even more temporary, even more fragile. Which means it either desperately needs protecting, or it desperately needs to be left behind. The choice is yours. Another upgrade complete. So yeah, 2 more, but I'm done. I mean, I suppose I'm gonna eat, obviously. I mean, I suppose I'm gonna go to sleep. I could, you know, do something to help out the ambergris here. So yeah. Alright, let's start this action. Let's start disarming Ember. I mean, that's where I've got it. Neutral outcome, put in 2. Alright. You move diffused torpedo warheads into the bay, trying not to think about what Annika used them for. Ankahita, sorry. Yep, I was just looking to see if it was a different thing there. Oh! I could go with either of them. Alright, well, I mean, we're gonna go down. We haven't got any scrap. We lost a load of condition because we were out of energy, but you know. Let's go across and sleep in the bit over here. Now, where is it? It's up here. And we'll jam a stabilizer in us, as this seems like the end. I've done everything. There's nothing else I can do. If this doesn't end the thing, and that I actually have to wait for all the cycles to go, then I will be disappointed? I don't know. I will be surprised at the very least. Alright, well, looks like I've got time to abandon someone and Mina. I forget who they were. I can just sit here and work through stuff. I suppose I could just spend my day sunbathing instead. Oh, look at that, we're done. And I got some random scrap. Woo! But we're done. Amber looks better than she ever has before. This has done an incredible job of cleaning up the hull, and despite the exterior changes being limited, she now has the impression of being lighter, somehow sleeker than before. It's just a spy, but has been loading up the final equipment onto Amber. Turns out Ankahita will be taking her weapons, but packed, ready to sell at the first starboard belt port. Starboard belt port she hits. My God, in words. Now that Moritz is done, seems to be in a kind of daze, floating backwards and forth aimlessly. You okay, Moritz? You don't know what to do now that you're your own person? What's that? He turns. Oh, right, yeah. Packed and stacked. He smiles a weak smile. I was hoping Miss Casetta would let me keep a warhead. What do you think of her, Miss Casetta? She seems tired and old. Like, older than she looks? Hey, sleeper. He looks down. Did you know Bliss was leaving? I understand now. She told him. That's why he's like this. Yeah, I did. He nods distractedly. She said this place is mine. Just when it's falling apart. Isn't that lucky? He looks up, around the bay, like it was something. Suddenly some vast space he doesn't know what to do with it. You do a great job. He looks down at you. Hey, thanks. He smiles. I appreciate you saying that. Not many people believed in me before now. First Bliss, then you. A dark look suddenly crosses his face. Hey, sleeper. There was something Bliss said. He meets your eyes. Are you going too? Before you can answer, Ankita glides into the bay, massive crate on her shoulders. Sleeper, you coming or what? Bliss is already on board. She stops by the terminal, holding herself in place. Let's look at her with a dazed expression. You look at Ankita. She's keeping it together now. She's packed all those bad feelings down someplace you'll never see them. Built a tough foundation on top. She may not be a mercenary anymore, but you imagine most people would think twice before trying to cross her. Well? She looks at you. I'm not eager to spend another moment of my time on this station unless I have to. She pauses, looking between you and Moritz. She says, I'll give you a minute. She kicks off the crate. She kicks off with the crate, taking it to the end of the bay, where Amber sits stocked. You look back at Moritz. You know, if everybody else is leaving on the flotilla, there's no reason I can't leave on the Amber. I'm going. We'll have this ending. I mean, this has nothing to do with the DLC, and presumably we'll be able to load it back up afterwards. I don't know that for certain, but I assume so. So, okay. Moritz looks like he might pass out. I get it. He steals himself. It's the right decision. Thank you. Hey, thank you for working with me these past cycles. He smiles. Shaky smile. I learned a lot. I don't know why Ankahita is suddenly pictured there for the closing talk with Moritz. Alright. Hey, look. He's a little closer. You've got to find what you need. I did. This place, you. This was everything I needed. He sniffs. I was in a bad place, and this pulled me up. He looks away. You go find it. Ankahita comes back to the ship. Across the bay. The final crate says, You coming? I'm coming. She nods. Well, okay then. Come on over with your things. I'll get you settled. She pauses. I'm sure Amber will be happy to have you. You both glide away from Moritz. His eyes wet, but a smile on his face. He waves as you go, dwarfed by the vast bay. And you hope he will make it, even though you know somehow that he will. Ankahita helps you through the lock, onto the Amber. The sense of familiarity is overwhelming. You think about all the time you spent working in these corridors, listening to these sounds, diagnosing those hisses. Ankahita gives you a minute before she speaks. Look, sleeper. I'm not going to go back over everything that happened, she sighs. I'm trying to put that behind me. She stops, unsure of how to proceed. It's okay, the past is done. I never didn't trust you. Everyone leaves Moritz, indeed they do. She nods. She stops. Thank you. I don't know if we can begin again, but we can move on. She sounds pain-tired. Look, you killed somebody. You killed somebody, and you disconnected a sleeper from tech that was yours. That they stole in order to do it. I don't mistrust you for having done that. Alright? I don't think you are a bad person for having done the things that you did. You might think that you are, and it weighs heavily on you, but I don't think that. As you move off down the corridor towards the berth, she tries again. I don't think it was that I thought the wrong things about who or what you are. I think I just didn't think of you, I mean. Didn't think about how things might affect you. There's no closing speech mark there. And I realise I've been like that for a long time. Focused, stubborn, willing to get the job done at any cost. She pauses. This is hard for her, but you don't want to interrupt. Well, I'm sick of paying the cost. I'm sick of being used as an extension of something bigger, something crueler than me. And having that cruelty, that violence flow through me. I just want to be me for a while. She looks down, or at least figure out who that is. She takes a deep breath. So what I'm saying is that you can get off at the first port we hit in the belt. I wouldn't blame you. It's a smart move. She pauses. Or you can stick around and we'll see if we can find a way to make space for all of us. She looks away, her energy exhausted. Thank you. She nods. Nothing else. This is you. She turns. No, she turns you to a small bunk. To a small room with a bunk and a porthole to the flickering lights outside. Outside wall is sloped, like a roof. Tucked beneath it is a small desk and terminal. Bliss is next door, though I think she's in the hold right now. I think she wants to make sure the warheads are locked down tight. Ankahito observes your nervous response. I mean, they are, obviously. She gives you a look. Ankahito slips away. You look around the room, go over to the porthole and place a hand on the wall and feel amber purr. You think you're gonna like it here. You stay like that for a while, looking out the porthole, one hand on the wall, feeling the ship. It is through the porthole that you will watch the eye getting smaller and smaller, drowning in the black. At some point, it will become so small, you could hold it between your thumb and index finger. You could crush its head, and it will wink out, and you won't be able to see it anymore. And it's at that moment you will finally exhale and collapse onto your bunk. In moments you will be asleep. When you wake up, you will be among friends. On your way to something new. Starward Passage achievement unlocked. Presumably, continue. Operator 79. If I stay, I assume I can unlock a different ending by staying with Maritz and, you know, helping run the business, maybe? I don't know. Oh, it's the beginning of the day, is it? Right? Yep. I mean... am I just waiting out the clock now? All the way down here. We could try and complete this. We're almost halfway there. No, because there's going to be more after it. I don't want to bother with that. I think we're just going to run out the clock. I don't want to see what happens to the kid and the dad, or the person who has taken the place of the parent as the parent. So we're just going to end the cycle. No. Pink slate chirps in your pocket. You take it out. Message. Connection is ready. Meet the Founder's Gap. Greenway side. Peak. Clench your door. It's time. There you are. You find Peak waiting near where you first met. The entrance to the docking tunnel for the Founder's Ferry. They're leaning beside the wall in the flickering light, and you realise how different they look from when you first met. There's darkness around their eyes, a sense of exhaustion to their poise, also a solidity, a sense of purpose and self-knowing. They look concrete, for want of a better word, solid. Sleeper, I spot you. A small smile crosses their face. Glad you came. Wouldn't be anywhere else. The smile grows. Crunch time! They shake their head in disbelief. Let's go. The break in the connection is up ahead. You walk away from the docking tunnel into the ragged, half-crushed corridor. descends into darkness. They work their slate, and a torch flicks on, lighting the way ahead. As you descend through the layers of the broken edge of the eye, Peak talks, filling the silence. I had to hunt all over this part of the eye to find the... I had to hunt all... words. I had to hunt all over this part of the eye to find the point where the connection was broken. I ran a hand along the bugged metal of the wall, stooping under the angled ceiling. This hole, the gap, it got knocked into the eye when Solheim collapsed. It's impossible to tell who did it, but my guess is they tried to scuttle the eye. Solheim couldn't keep hold of their fancy new station. Well, no one could. Peak ducks through a fractured passageway with hanging wires like vines. So this place has always been on borrowed time. Managed to weave together the old connections and run a new patch down to where the main line still runs, through the remaining ribs of the rim. I smile. Just like keeping those old XPR platforms running. Ishii would be proud, if she had bothered to help. As Peak goes quiet, the corridor opens out into a wider, twisted passage, with compartments on either side, thick with wiring. Here, this is the connecting point. You can see where Peak has levered off a panel and hooked up a thick cable to the existing hardware. As thick as a tree trunk, he snakes off into the dark ahead. Its yellow rings, making it look like some huge and exotic serpent. You did all this? Peak nods. It was an interesting challenge. Plus, it helped me keep my mind off things. Peak smiles a weak smile. There's a lot I'd prefer not to think about. You just stand there, staring at the point where the new cable meets the old. The ends separate, fitted with multi-pin male and female connectors, embraced inside a metal framework with a scissoring mechanism. Bring them together, seal them. The greenway will be connected to the rest of the eye for the first time in decades. Peak shifts their weight onto one hip, pushing their hair out of their eyes. Feel like this should be more momentous. There should be some ritual or ceremony. Pause. Or someone to stop us from doing this crazy thing. Just do it, man. Just do it. Peak nods. Pull the plaster off, right? Okay. I'm surprised that metaphor has travelled into space, given that they probably have all kinds of sprays and fixatives and things, rather than, sticking plasters. I held both sides of the supporting framework, ready to scissor it close. Here we go! Peak wrenches the framework closed. Connects are stunk together with a sound that echoes down the ruined corridor into the dark on both sides. Both you and Peak wait with bated breath, unsure what it is you're waiting for. Do you expect the eye to suddenly stop spinning or lurch on its axis? Whether power to go out or a shockwave to run through the corridors of the rim? You Peak's eyes, and suddenly they burst out laughing. What are we waiting for? They put a head to their forehead. I feel like we just planted a tree and expecting it to burst out of the ground. They shake their head. But you feel it. You feel it flowing like a stream that's been released from a cave and rushes into the sunlight, crystalline and clear. You swear you can hear it running in the wires, like water, like rain, like steam. You should say like a stream there, not steam. You don't hear steam running. It doesn't roar or rattle, and it rustles and writhes there, like liquid roots. Peak sees the look in your eyes and stops laughing. You can see it, can't you? You can't see it, not with your eyes at least, but it is everywhere, and now it is out. It can't be put back in. That much is clear. You imagine the rim of the eye like a sponge, like soil, soaking up the gardener and their chorus. The gaps filling with a burbling, constant, growing life. Peak stares at you, waiting for something, anything. The gardener is free. Peak nods slowly and closes his eyes. You go to speak, but the words fail. Suddenly, Peak's slate chirps. They jump, scramble for it, almost dropping it in the process. When they do, they stare at a look of confusion on their face. Is it the gardener? Peak has falls open. It's Ishii. They swallow. She's leaving. They look at you with panic. Well, you can speak. They've turned away and are moving back up the passage. Back towards the entrance. Nope. Stay silent. It's them. Don't turn, don't respond. I mean, if I had said he's peek or wait, I assume I would have got the same response here. Then you watch their silhouette, lit by the slate's torch, disappear rapidly around a corner. Take out the slate Pete gave you and turn on the torch. The wires around you look like pale roots in the harsh light. You turn away from them. They are gardeners now. You work your way back through the corridors, retracing your steps. Imagine Peak, panicked, running towards the cordon, realizing that their greatest fear has come to pass. You wonder if they will be able to persuade Ishii to stay. If Ishii is going, you think, the flotilla must be leaving soon. Or two. The thought makes you shiver in the darkness. You push it away. You're not ready. Focus on avoiding the hanging wires, the low ceilings. Make your way back out into the lit corridors of the Founder's Ferry dock. Castor is waiting for you. Oh, not Castor. Holds his hand up. Now, Sleeper. No need to fear. This is his eyebrows. Understand now it's my mistake to try to force you. Miscalculation. Get lost. Understand you are angry. That is a reasonable reaction. Pushes his glasses up his nose. I only ask that you continue in the spirit of being reasonable and allow me to state my case. You should be dead, man. I won't hold you here, Sleeper. Kessler stands to his side. But I wish to speak. I don't care. There is nothing Kessler can say that you want to hear. He speaks for Senate Stat. They have no hold on you. You approach Kessler. No, I don't. I leave. As you approach, he speaks quietly, an urgent whisper. I do not wish to see you lost. You are of great value. If you ever want to see that realized, push past, ignoring him. His voice fades. Last you see of him is a slow nod, perhaps a mask of resignation. Just another deferential gesture, aimed at manipulating your response. Doesn't matter, either way. You are done with him. You head towards the cordon, peaking the flotilla in the forefront of your mind. Hey there, Peak. Cautious Spacer. Or is that Caution, Spacer? You arrive at the chaos of the cordon. Final shuttles are leaving their ramshackle docks that formed along the edge of the gap during the flotilla's stay. As they do, groups of evacuees push on board, hoping to be among the final people to escape from the eye. The fear created by the flux event became a series of rumours. The fear created by the flux event became a series of rumours. Those rumours have driven many out of their homes. Others have staunchly doubled down on their position on the eye, refusing to accept any gossip of a second collapse. Unsure what you think. Is the collapse a certainty? Will Peak's actions this cycle have changed anything at all? Tired of these questions, instead set out to look for your friends. You quickly spot Peak and Ishii at the far side of the chaotic bay. Quickly make your way through the crowds, slipping between the gaps in the rushing evacuees. Stepping over bags and luggage. Progress is slow. As you approach, you can hear the voices over the crowd. You try to push closer, but there are many evacuees gathered around them and their shuttle. You've made your decision, Peak. It puts you against me. She is standing with one foot on their boarding ramp, while Peak argues with her. Evacuees are eyeing them, eager to intervene, but intimidated by Ishii's evident strength and attitude. Ishii, it doesn't have to be like this. Peak looks desperate. Tear tracks already on her cheeks. We can find a way. She shakes her head. I have always protected you, Peak. I have taken you under my wing. But I understand that you are not mine to control. You have chosen to be here, and not with me, despite everything. I have chosen to stop running, Pete cries out in frustration. You can choose to stop running too. We can stay here and try to live. Don't you remember what it feels like to live, Ishii? Ishii turns away. Remember what it was like to live on Hawthorne. What it was like to be worried for your safety every cycle. To live under the control of my mother, of the administration. To work to maintain something that no one wanted, no one needed, so that our corporation could maintain a foothold in this system. You talk as if this place, in the very same system, is any different. What is there here but the same grind, for other masters, for employers, administrators, for those who gain from our struggle? James Corden. Definitely not James Corden. Well, there may not be a corporation controlling the eye. There is control. There is power in action here. Alas, there is always power in action with our current system of governments. So what then? Peak shouts. You run from anyone and everyone who could ever be close to you in search of freedom? In search of some perfect place where no one has power over you? Peak is crying openly now. I want to be part of something, Ishi. Even if it is broken and suffering. Even if it cannot be free. She pauses and takes a deep breath. She nods, her eyes closed. This isn't Hawthorne anymore. We aren't tied by our childhood or by our shared need to escape. We're both just people in this system. She opened her eyes. I release you, Peak. You're free of me. Ishi, please, hold out a hand. There is a life here if you want it. She turns and smiles at Peak, her eyes wet now too. Then you live it for me, Peak. I can't. She climbs up the boarding ramp, and evacuees taking their chance to climb on board too. You watch as the shuttle closes its ramp, lifts off, and leaves the bay. Crowds are dispersing now. As they get onto their shuttles, or say their goodbyes and move back into the main part of the cordon, push past the last of them to reach Peak. Peak doesn't turn as you come closer. Sleeper, Ishi's gone. I mean, I should stay silent, but you should go too. Go. He shakes her head. No, I'm sure now. They look out at the flotilla. This is the way it should be. They turn to face you. I'll miss the Briar, but she'll serve Ishi well. I know that. Sleeper! Sheriff takes you by surprise. You turn to see Sol coming across the bay towards you. The last two shuttles loading up behind him. He reaches you, his suit hissing as he does. Can't believe you'd make an old man run across the bay to get you. He pauses to take a breath. Singers have gone. They left at the start of the cycle. They broke away from the flotilla. Yeah, I know. You smile as you think of Teller, safely cradled away within one of those singer ships, on her way to the Starwood Belt. And hopefully a reunion with her brother. Godspeed, Teller. What are you smiling at? Sol interrupts your thoughts. They forced our hand. We have to leave now. Sol shakes his head. If we follow close enough behind, maybe they'll end up being our scouts anyway. Reckon any hostile spaces out there will give them a wide berth. Pilgrim Siege will need a little time to make our way out of the cordon. I'm heading back now to get her started. Thankfully, the step ships are sticking with us, so we'll be plenty well supplied for the journey to the belt. Pauses. Anyway, I didn't plod all the way over here to tell you that. Someone looks between you and Peak with a raised eyebrow. Now or never, Sleeper. Go to my word, and I kept a berth for you. This is your last chance to take it. He scratches at his beard. Make your call. You glance out at the flotilla beyond the bay, beautiful in the light of Hellion's sun. You think of the long journey to the Starwood Belt, the people inside the Pilgrim Seed, of the possible futures that await. Then you think of the people here, on the Eye, the Peak beside you, small shifts yet to come, and the routines that ground you, of promises and possibilities. Should I stay or should I go? Got to let me know. Ah. Well, Rico is going to stay. Peak is going to stay. And Moritz is staying, so that's a point against it. I mean, Anchorheater and Bliss and Moritz aren't resolved because we did that and then loaded back up from the bit from the beginning of the day where I hadn't fixed it all. I mean, if I was going to stay, then I should have accepted Taller's key so that I could be a bartender. Although I want to see what's going on with the gardener. I mean, this is a decision. I think we're blasting off into the unknown. I think we're moving ever forwards, even though I'd like to stay and see what's going on here. I think we're leaving. So you open your mouth to speak and realise this is the final time you will make a choice. You have to be sure. I'm leaving. You say the words, seem to carry your heart out of your mouth with them. You feel lightheaded, spinning, as if you tumbled out of the bay into open space. I mean, I regret telling everybody at the beginning, nah, I'm staying, and now I'm saying, no, I'm going. Soul nods. Come on then, let's go. You freeze for a moment, feeling Peek's presence beside you, and the moment to speak disappears. Good luck, Peek. Peek nods. You too. I should squeeze out the words before going silent. And then you are walking with Soul across the bay, almost without trying. Step, light, your head spinning. Oh, we're lifting up? That's cool. I like that. Soul grips your hand to help you up onto the shuttle ramp. As he does, you feel the thick texture of his worn hands in the great detail, as if you were touching some created landscape. Grip them tightly as you get on board. As the ramp begins to close, you see Peek watching at a distance, their face half covered by their hair. They raise a hand in farewell. As they do, you see something in the expression that you can't quite place. A sense of determination, perhaps? Or a compressed anger. Something will drive them forward from this point on, to a future you can believe will be better. Then the shuttle ramp closes and the metal box you are inside rumbles and tilts. Some of the evacuees with you screech at the sudden movement, but they settle as the ship carves its way out of the bay towards the flotilla, towards whatever comes next. When you arrive there, you will find a berth, just as Soul promised, tucked in amongst hundreds of others, like a strange neighborhood of tiny flats. Communal canteens, the water supply, the farm stacks, these shared spaces will become the center of this new reality. Places where stories are shared, where signals and messages from the eye of the system, and the signals and messages from the ships of the system and the eye itself are interpreted and discussed. You find yourself unable to resist listening in on it to any conversation about the eye, any scrap of detail or data. This is how you will hear that another flux event hit not longer after the flotilla left. One that knocked out the power for the whole free spoke, and they say, disconnecting the hub from the rim for many cycles, one that crippled many systems and cost many lives. But the flotilla, having departed with enough time, will outrun the flux, and you, or the evacuees, will be thankful for this mercy. You also hear of the strange growths that people started reporting around the station in the wake of the event. Fungal crusts that pushed through pipes or wiring. Rumours of the eye going wild and fecund will travel quickly around the Pilgrim Seed, telling stories of a station increasingly unpredictability, prone to a seasonal rhythm of spore clouds and sudden growth spurts. As your long journey across the system becomes a dull routine, the same faces and places, you will delight to overhear that the eye persists despite everything, that crippled systems are rebooting and replaced, that the new season of growth and decay brings with them a plenitude of resources and surprises. You will hear that Havenage's half-liners have fizzled out, losing their grip on Havenage Council. In their wake, Helene will spearhead a series of reforms that will scale back Havenage's overreach, returning them to the caretaker role they had always intended to fulfill. And after a long time, you will find the stories of the eye become less the signals, the messages fewer, replaced instead by a newer rare broadcast, this time from Senate Stat, citing legal precedents and quoting deeds of ownership, staking a claim on the system. These messages will set the rumour mill in the Pilgrim Seed spinning. You will rarely have a moment when you don't hear mention of that company and its claims. Occasionally on the long trip, you'll make a pilgrimage to the dust house on a supply shuttle and gather clubheads from among the mulch. Talk with a key as they are processed into stabilizer. Oh right, because you need the clubheads, yep. And hear of how the plants are changing, adapting, becoming ever entwined in this new, unprecedented ecosystem. And then, in the final part of your journey, as you reach the far parts of the system where few signals travel, and the starward belt girds the system like a defensive ring. Not guards the system? Okay. There will be distant reports of another fleet entering the system, under the banner of the all-too-familiar Conway extractions. By the time this happens, and the evacuees will begin to discuss these... By the time this happens, you and the evacuees will begin to discuss these events less and less, perhaps in the hope of avoiding of being implicated in this coming corporate war. And finally, one cycle far from this moment, when you arrive at an asteroid port in the Starwood Belt, one you have yet to know, and you and all the evacuees will be released into it. That moment, half a system and hundreds of cycles away from the eye, will think back on your times with equal sadness and fondness. Then you'll step out of the Pilgrim Seed, never to return. Once more, try to make a future for yourself that might be different to those false futures promised you so many times. But for now, you remain on the shuttle, angling its way towards the bay of the Pilgrim Seed, carrying the hopes of all who tremble quietly within. In that moment, you feel the eye release you, just as Ishi released Peak, and it feels so good. There we have it. Didn't get any achievements for that, I'm surprised. Well, I'm just gonna transition as I move over here and say, yes, so how am I feeling about all that? I mean, that is largely the ending that I thought was coming from the other things, which is partially why I called this Shut Eye as the stream title. But yeah. I am glad it's over. I am glad there is a conclusion to the story, and it's not just, hey, one of these many things could happen to you. And, you know, I believe there is an equally concluding part if you stay on the eye and do that, or I would like to hope so, at least, where you find out what the gardener's doing, etc., and everything else that is going on there, even if it is through the, oh, in many years it will come to say, like the text that we had there at the end. But, you know, I am happy it is over. I am not sad that I have played this. I'm not going, bah, I wasted all my time doing it. But I wish there was more game to the game. It was definitely an experience more than it was a game. Yeah, that is how I would clarify it. And, you know, I prefer games that have experiences rather than experiences that have games, if you see what I mean. But hey, they can't all be the same. You need variety in here too, otherwise everything will be the same and boring, and that we definitely don't want. And that is the end of today's stream. I did have a demo that I was going to do, but I started it early, and we've been going for 3.5 hours almost, yes. So this is where we're going to end for the day. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll be back with Returnal on Monday. Yes, that will be a fun game. And then there'll be Point and Click Tuesday, where we will have some sort of point and click game. Perhaps it will just be the demo. I don't know how long the demo of this game is. Perhaps we will start on another point and click game down the way. I don't know. We will find out. But until then, you are appreciated. Why? Because you've been watching some of this with me. Whether you were here live and in person, or later on the VOD, you're amazing for having spent any time with me blathering on and misreading things repeatedly. Still, there we go. Until the next time, I have been Richard, and this whole thing has been LMTDTMFFR, or, say it with me now, limited time offer, no vowels. And you, have fun, and stay weird.